I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh God. We are
Time to start injecting more heroin.
What?
Dude. Dune Awakening. It's my heroin right now.
Oh, you're playing the new Dune game.
Yes. Yes.
Are you having fun with it?
Did you see my DM?
Explain your DM to me, because I'm stupid.
The game's been out for a little over a week, and I already have 80 hours in the game.
Motherfucker, you've been playing this. You played for 20 hours in one day.
Yes.
The math is not mathing for me. Hey, everybody, come on in. Come chill out.
When did it come out? I think it came out on the 10th. A view page.
Yeah, we're painting.
Yeah, it came out.
Sorry.
It had its full release on the 10th.
Jeez.
So, and yeah, it's 8 hours a day. No, 10 hours a day.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.
How many times did you get murdered by a worm?
So far none, because I'm not dumb.
I'm glad you're enjoying it and everything.
Well, I've been murdered several times by bandits, though. That was not fun.
How's the boss doing? I'm doing okay. Sorry for the stream being late. I went to Costco to do some grocery shopping. There's Will. Hey, Will.
Hello. Hello. I'm just gonna close the door.
Yeah, I've been avoiding getting eaten by a worm because they have an interesting mechanic for an MMO. That if you get eaten by a worm, you lose everything in your inventory.
Yep. I remember.
Including all your armor, weapons.
I remember Pirate Software saying that.
Yeah.
Because someone asked him,
So-
hey, is this game fun? And such, and he's like, it's fun to me.
Yeah.
Ooh, just finishing my Blood Angels Combat Patrol for a tournament next week. Nice.
Ooh.
Is that the new Blood Angels one or the old one?
I hope it's not the new one, because the new one's not good.
Nipple
Like,
armor.
For Combat Patrol, it's actually pretty good. Like, it's actually pretty strong.
Isn't it?
Like, in that format is.
I still
Yeah, it's
see
like-
the
it's
Combat
like
Patrol
two-
boxes like the starter boxes, right?
Yeah, but it's 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard and a whole bunch of assault marines, essentially, like non-jump pack assault marines. So it's like pretty in your face. Now the new Guard one is garbage.
Isn't the guard one like half of that massive box they had?
No, it's right. It is a Kasserkin squad, a Cadian command squad, and a squad of Atalan Rough Riders.
How the fuck is that supposed to hurt anything?
Don't worry about it. I mean, it's different.
Bodies.
Like Combat Patrol's a different format. Like that's the.
I know it's a different format. It's just like, dude.
I might be wrong about that. I might be wrong about the exact composition. I'm just double checking now. Because the old one was decent. The old one was basically just like a starter set for Cadians.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, it's 10 Atalan Rough Riders, 10 Kasserkin, and a Cadian command squad.
that's dying really quick in a lot of games.
What someone said about it, which I sort of agree with, is this was clearly designed as this is the thing you buy after you bought the 9th edition one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you had the 9th edition one, that's a command squad, 2 squads of infantry, the field ordnance battery, and the sentinel, then getting 10 rough riders, the elite infantry, and another command squad, so you can do the regimental command and the high command, basically, kind of thing. That makes sense. Like it's a follow-on to the previous one, but they didn't keep the previous one on sale. Like,
Tunist, is Dune worth watching?
Your friends are wrong.
Dune is.
Also, which Dune are your friends talking about? Are you talking about the new one with Timothée Chalamet? Are you talking about the original from the 90s?
Or the sci-fi series, original series.
Yeah,
Sci-fi
or the
original
miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dune is complicated because
Oh, it's super complicated.
It's complicated for a viewing experience too. Because if you read the book, like in general, you are not getting the same experience as you would reading the books, as you would watching the movies. And it's why whenever someone says, like, ever asks me, do you recommend Dune? I say, are you interested in deep philosophical talks about the state of humanity and politics?
Where power originates from? Is it from the will of the people? Is it who controls the resources? You know, that kind of philosophy kind of stuff.
It's not. Yeah, it's like there is fighting in it, but like it's not
the focus.
It's not the focus. It's a lot of talking. And
war crimes. A lot of war crimes. If you think Paul is a good guy, think again. He is not.
What I would say about what you're saying, Russ, is I do agree with you. But Dune also suffers from the fact that it was written in, I think, the 1950s.
The 50s. Yep, 54 was the first book.
And so those musings on those exact themes and topics have been done for 70 years at this point. It is like one of the most like treaded grounds in science fiction literature, and Dune at this point is not adding anything new to that conversation because Dune started that conversation.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
they do talk about eugenics a lot too.
Yeah, and the positives of eugenics. So the reason that people, I'm gonna straight up say it, like myself, actually find Dune not a bad watch, but kind of a boring one, is I have heard this argument so many times in different stuff.
Also, if you're going into it thinking like Star Wars or Warhammer, ignore that. Think more Star Trek.
Yeah.
In terms of like the philosophy.
Yeah. Now, do not get me wrong. As someone who loves sci-fi, if you want to see the book, if you want to read the book or watch the thing that inspired all sci-fi, basically, you would want
modern sci-fi.
Our modern view of sci-fi. You read or watch a series of Dune.
Yeah. The Mechanicus from 40K is heavily inspired by the religion in Dune.
Yeah. And
because they have that whole no AI thing going on for both of them.
And is it overrated? That's a
little bit.
Opinion.
A little bit. I think people glaze it a little bit too much, but it is still an interesting and worthwhile read.
If not for the topics they talk about, then just for the universe it sets up, and just for the novelty of this inspired probably one of your favorite sci-fi series.
Yep.
And you can, and like the coolest thing about Dune when you're reading through it is finding exactly what inspired what.
Hey peeps, so to emphasize further on this as well,
Hey,
it's very
Gabriel.
similar to...
Hey.
Hello! It's very similar to how anything fantasy related to this day and age, you can see a lot of the origin points coming from Tolkien when he pretty much tore up the fantasy book and style with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Then you had like C.S. Lewis working on stuff, you had all those kind of things. It's very much that same kind of thing.
Everyone is way louder than you on your stream.
Oh, they are.
I can't hear you for shit. Yeah.
Oh, shit, really? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, have a good one.
Adjustments to be made.
Thank you.
Thank you, Viera.
Yeah,
But yeah,
sorry.
it's interesting with Dune. At the moment, when it comes to the film, for cinematic quality, absolutely stunning. Music, brilliant. For me, who has not read the books, it was quite a great watch. And I hadn't even seen the cheesy 80s one with the weird vomiting worm things. That's because they've been consuming the spice too much. But it very much, at the moment, feels like the same kind of glazing sensation for the film as we had in 2007 with 300, where everything was pointing towards anything masculine, anything involving fights. It was always referencing back to 300 or The Matrix for that in 1999. It's one of those benchmarks that everybody points towards and everyone touts very strongly. I mean, there are certainly some inconsistency I know from the books I've heard from my colleagues about what happens with Paul and his sibling, about how that all changes, and that kind of nonsense. But
And his son,
in terms of
second.
yeah, in terms of the actual setting and seeing just the vastness of the potential of an intergalactic war, which we only have seen maybe in Star Wars, kind of, sort of, maybe Warhammer 40,000 with some
Not
of the
even.
bits we've read. Dune is just another level in terms of what it can showcase and just how vast
If you
a
actually,
galactic war can be.
My problem with Star Wars when it comes to, the Galactic Civil War and the Clone Wars is the numbers don't add up at all. You're saying this is half a galaxy at war.
one sec, Chad, I'll be right back.
And only a few million people die? What?
Yeah, I mean, again,
And so again, spoiling a 60-year-old book at this point, Paul's jihad against the
Grab my left
galaxy kills a few 100 billion.
Yep. Again, it's the concept of scale is one thing that does set Dune apart from Star Wars and other bits, because they've actually really set out just this is the consequence of warfare of this scale. This is what you're dealing with.
These series are over like 50 to 60 goddamn years old.
The Dune book came out in 1954. I do not feel bad about spoiling it.
I mean,
It's also
I
dense
would
as
say,
fuck.
yeah, it's a big one. I mean, the thing I know that's causing a lot of controversy now is the Sun is still writing Dune novels, which are questionable at best in terms of the routing to the thing. It's very similar to having C.S. Goto writing stuff for Dune.
Duncan Idaho and his magic dick.
Oh dear.
That was not paraphrasing, by the way. That actually happens. His dick is magical.
Look, I've
You
heard
love
of
the taste
consuming
of the
spice, but
magic
that's just
dick.
going too far. Good grief. Please consult your physician if spice is doing that.
Yeah. Also, what I really like Dune is they really think about the technology and how that impacts everyday life.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole thing with using blades over weapons because of the power thing, that is sublimely done.
Yeah, like, okay, hey, we want a sci-fi universe where people are still fighting with swords. Well, how do we accomplish that? Okay, well, people have personal shields. Traditional guns, completely ineffective, and lasers will actually cause a nuclear explosion if used on them. So, swords.
I mean, is there any point in the novels where someone actually does that to cause a nuclear detonation by putting a laser on someone?
I don't remember if anyone does.
I think I was like.
I mean, if they haven't, that's just asking for things. That's just asking for like some kind of terrorist cell putting that forward to just say, here comes the consequence. I will go with you.
They also have like the laws of war, and I forget what they call them in universe, but basically it's like, hey, no using lasers against shielded targets, because everyone loses in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the whole thing they did with the weapons that break through the shields by slowing down. Yeah, just to really emphasize that, there are ways around the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing that really just sets it apart. I mean, as I said, I think Warhammer's won the feud, but of course, Warhammer was directly inspired by Dune. It's one of the root points of Warhammer 40,000. I mean, you see the West Palestinian Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Same with Halo, same with Destiny, all the other sci-fi's, Gears of War. All those have got hints of Dune in a certain fashion.
The Emperor is straight up just Paul Atreides with magical powers.
I think that one's questionable.
No, they both have unimaginable power. They both lead a holy crusade to conquer the galaxy, and they both end up as a god emperor.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, except Paul isn't immortal and lives forever. That's the difference.
I did see a
He
meme
does
earlier about
eventually
saying
die.
the only reason why the Emperor still exists and lives the most because the Orcs believe he lives.
That's an old one.
Yeah, that's, that's what that completely missed me by. It must be when I was in one of my hiatus, like, it's heresy, but...
So, I, pretty much confirmed this at the end of this video, this current video, but I'm going to be doing a video on the Horus Heresy. I need to know on the Horus Heresy. Oh boy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So how long, knowing like my buddy mine and his wife who did the entire history of Destiny 2 and Destiny in general, good luck.
It's Cliff Notes version, right? So...
Okay, so you're not going into the... I think Wife's was a 10-hour video in the end for all this for the entire lore of D2.
Yeah, we're not doing 10 hours. No one has the brain power or the patience outside of our autistic ADHD asses to do that.
I was about to say I do.
The way he worked it is it's in segments, so you can like pause a certain part, so you don't like have to watch it all the way through like certain chapters. So you can, for example, do the Battle of What's the one that had the big tank one? I think it's not Tanit, it's the other one.
Talon.
Talon. Yeah, the battle, like you'd be seeing like the Battle of Talon, the whole Istvan 5 massacre. The Istvan, so it was broken up into chunks. So you could only focus on those particular pieces. That allowed a little bit more of a break between stuff, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I'm not focusing on anything that isn't like a major part of the story that happened. And I know, like, to a lot of people, that's sacrilege. Why aren't you talking about, like, X event or something like that? Because when you think about the Horus Heresy, think about the actual events that cause shit to happen.
Fulcrum moments.
Yeah.
Or fulcrum points.
Yeah. It's...
I mean, one big example being the betrayal of Calth. Or, of course, the more obvious being Istvan 3, Istvan 5.
Yeah. So, like, for example... I will be covering covering the Triumph of Eleanor, the Primarch's birth, the fall of Horus Lupercal, and the events that lead through that. But I won't be covering stuff like the Iron Warriors getting fucked over by the Emperor's children. I won't be covering stuff like the Night Lords versus Dark Angels. I won't be covering essentially a lot of the short stories that happen in it. It's the point of need to know is the need to know information. I.e., Horus was the Emperor's favorite son. Due to events beyond anyone's control, and third parties acting within, Horus is corrupted by the forces of chaos and leads a rebellion against the Emperor that essentially split the galaxy in half. And
quite literally.
It all ends with the final battle on Earth, where the Emperor is entombed within the Golden Throne after getting exodiaed by Horus, and Horus is killed. leading to essentially chaos winning in the end.
I mean, would you mention the whole thing leading to the Niddies arriving with
The Battle of
was it Tyrant?
I already mentioned that in the Tyranids video.
Okay.
Yeah, Tyrannic War, I mentioned it.
It's amazing just how, again, you know, I talked about this before, just how much it's been fleshed out compared to when, you know, I started the hobby in 2007. You know, back when Legion was such a big thing because, wait, there's 2 of them? This is getting out of hand.
When you're playing a 1,000-point game against Custodes, this is getting out of hand, now there's 2 of them.
Pretty much. Wait, oh shit, there's a Sister of Science as well. Oh shit.
Ah, fuck!
You know, I just want to see now. I would love to see someone playing Sister Silence, but entirely in Battle Sign or ASL or BSL.
I am, God. Just rereading a lot of stuff through the Horus Heresy, it's just like, okay, wow, a lot happens here where it's a lot of yada yada.
Yeah, and again, you know, they were padding up books, but also it gave them opportunity to flesh out the legions, which then became chapters as well. It gave that extra information that many people have been craving for a long time, whether it was, you know, how the Ultramarines came to be the Codex lovers that they are, about how the Dark Angels had their split, all those little bits of detail, you know, the World Eaters when they were, you know, the Warhounds and leading them to putting in the nails.
Oh, yeah.
It allowed a lot more flavor, which for me as a lore nerd was great. When I was writing my own success chapters, I finally got some more information on the Imperial Fist, the part that they decided to eat fecal matter and other bits. It was great to have that extra bit.
Yeah, and no, chat, yada yada doesn't, when I say yada yada, it does not mean it's bad. It's essentially like, for when you're trying to give people that are interested in wanting to know what the history of this thing is, but not the nitty-gritty details, just who are the main characters, what happened, why it happened.
Pretty much.
And when you're trying to, like, get all that information, you can't, like, go on a Tolkien-esque tirade about, the battle of whatever the fuck in M31, 005. You can't go into that. Because it's not necessary to the plot that the person's interested in.
Yeah, we don't need a Cimmerillion.
Yeah, we don't need a Cimmerillion.
No. I'm now just picturing years ago, I'm talking 17 years ago, maybe, a friend of mine, I think she's actually become an author now, because we used to communicate with her back in the day. She actually used to do an Abaddon cosplay, which was superb back in like 2008-9.
I saw Lilith
And she
Hexpress
wrote-
cosplay, by the way, at the Edmonton Open.
Oh, nice.
That was
Ooh.
awesome.
Yeah, 'cause I was surrounded by 40k cosplayers when I was at EGX, which was great. But the one thing I love with this one, she actually wrote a kids' book version, Cliff Notes of the Horus Heresy, which was brilliant. Not sure if it's still around anymore. It's probably lost to the warp, you know, from that many years ago in the Volta Chainsaw. But it was a brilliant little Cliff Notes thing, which was literally about maybe 5 paragraphs. And it just summed up everything amazingly well.
Yeah, like, upon my re-review of the series, like, I managed to, like, knock it down to, Olenor, like, the Triumph of Olenor, where Horus is crowned War Master, the Wounding of Davin, the Istvan Massacres, then, the Battle of Mullik, the Ruin Storm, because that's what keeps, like, the rest of the Loyalists from reaching Terra on time. And then after that, it kind of gets muddy, because it's just like, okay, well, Horus gets wounded by Leman Russ, but then that basically just sums up as, like, oh, he wakes up and then continues the Siege of Terra anyway. And it's that middle ground that you're trying to find, like, everything, because, like, everything's happening at once, but then it's just, like, what's important? Like, what actually matters to mention? What's big enough to talk about? Or do I just, like, mention this in passing?
I think it's very much that kind of bit where it's after the Ruin Storm, it's basically at this point both sides prepared for terror. That just sums up a whole section.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the Siege of Terra happens.
And like, then it came down to, do I mention the burning of Prospero? Do I mention the Word Bears actually being like the first traders, kind of a thing?
I think the Word Bears possibly because they are the catalyst of the whole thing because of what happened on Monarchia.
Yeah.
So that you probably have because they are very much the power, the magician behind the curtain that leads to a lot of what happens.
And this is why, like, by the way, chat, like, this is why I appreciate my wife so much, is because, like, when I talk to them, I'm asking them about this stuff, and they're the person, like, I'm gauging those feelings on. And usually they ask me, like, okay, is this going to confuse me and bog my brain down? And I speak it to them, and then they go, I am confused, this is bogging my brain down. Figure out a way to either clean it up or don't mention it at all. And I appreciate that so much because it helps my brain know, okay, this isn't working, we need to try something else.
And it takes a lot of drafts. Believe me, the amount of drafts that I know Bife did for his various videos over the years, they are hefty.
Oh, yeah. I actually have to redo the Gathering Storm script now.
Yeah, because I need to read them. I've never read the Runestone books because I kind of fell out of the hobby for a little bit at that time. So they're ones I need to find. Unremembered Empire, all that kind of nonsense. I just know Cliff Notes what happened, but no idea of the bigger details. So that is a big thing I'll be diving into.
Gathering Storm, like the 7th edition going into 8th.
That too, because I missed that completely. And of course, you couldn't get the bloody books afterwards.
Yep. They're in the Worm Revolt now.
That's true, yeah. Well, I do have turns out, if you haven't used your old Games Workshop accounts for a certain amount of time and you didn't do it on the crossover, you lost all your shit. So I lost all my old accounts, so I have to remake a new one. Which sucks, but...
that sucks, I'm sorry.
But I have got it happens. But I have got a voucher I got for Crimbo I need to put together, so I'll be something I'll be doing once I emigrate stateside. Just so I can read stuff, because I won't be able to work for X amount of time with the laws they have. So I'll give you lots to read in that time, because it was a lot happening that time. Like, what in the name of sanity is going on here? I have no idea. What is this Arcs of Omen nonsense? What is the Gathering Storm? Why is Gideon back? Okay, what is this Primaris nonsense? I could have written this better. What is going... It was all the thoughts going through my mind at the time, because... the Primaris was...
God, So I don't know if anyone remembers. I did do a video on the Primaris Marines. Like I did a full video for them, talking about like what's the community's actual opinion on them, where do they come from, and just like, hey, was this like a planned thing or was this like a spur of the moment idea? And the answers and conclusions I came to were like the obvious answer is always the most boring answer, but of course it's the obvious answer, and it's the obvious answer is always the correct one. But
Occam's razor.
Yeah, Occam's razor, Malcolm's razor. But
Malcolm's razor.
I'm tired, dude. But basically, the opinion on Primaris Marines was a lot more mixed than it was negative. And upon researching it, I'm like, okay, so someone fucked up around with the scheduling of this. Because if Wolf's Bane and another Horus Heresy book came out before the Primaris Marines, they would have been set up.
Something tells me that was the plan, but of course there are delays. I mean, remember when Prospero Burns was delayed for about a year and a half because Dan Abnett was very unwell.
Exactly.
So it was meant to be 2 back-to-back, but that didn't happen. Then, of course, delays with Andrzejewski Baldur's books, that kind of thing. So that was probably the plan, but books can be delayed. Products cannot.
Yep.
Because there are people with lots of money and that have been invested in companies that want to say, yeah, where's our income?
Yeah, where's the money?
We promised
bitch?
is a big thing. Although I'm still annoyed, they never used a very obscure bit of lore which would have explained things so perfectly for the Mechanicum utilizing Primaris Marines, and that is the Sons of Antaeus. A very, very niche Cursed Founding chapter. Very little known about them. It was literally mentioned in passing in like a White Dwarf, and back when the Games Workshop website actually had lore tidbits on it, about them being a mysterious chapter which is noted to be even larger than your average Space Marine. And they're shrouded in secrecy, nothing about it. That is a Proto-Primaris chapter. You could have so easily brought them in. It would have been brilliant. You would have linked up the old lore to the new. It would have made sense, proving that they had this long plan all the way through. But they didn't.
Yep. But yeah, like, I found... Because, like, I did polls and such, I got opinions, like, essentially just asking, in general questions that really couldn't lead to too much bias. You know, like, just getting polls and such. And I found, for, like, every person that loved or hated it, there was more people that were just neutral on them in general.
Again, it comes down to as well when people started, because that I found was a real big factor for
Oh, yeah.
the reactions of players. Like, anyone who started, like, in 4th or 5th edition, it was a much more visceral reaction compared to 2nd or similar.
Yeah, and then...
Or the ones who started in 7th.
Or the people who started in 8th, and they're just like, nah, I love them. They're a lot better than the fucking Firstborn, because they're easier to build, they're easier to maintain, and they're easier to paint.
Yeah.
And... when the Primaris Marines first came out, I fucking hated them. But then, the more they grew on me, the more I read the books, and especially, like, Dark Imperium does so much for them as a group.
Oh, yeah.
Gives them a lot more character.
Oh yeah, because, chat, for those that don't know, when 7th edition ended, it ended with a Primarch coming back, a character that's only ever been talked about in, like, history. Like, that was 40k's history. When you're talking, like, the Primarch's like the King Arthur, the Genghis Khan, the Alexander the Great, or better known as Alexander the Somewhat Okay.
Just kind of average.
Yeah, just kind of average.
Yeah, I was thinking of Stal the Undefeated now from Doctor Who. What do you mean the Undefeated? Now you've been not defeated anymore, never mind.
So, when you have a character like that come back, it is usually, it is a huge deal. And then when you read Dark Imperium, the first book that really introduces 40k in its modern era, it's from the perspective of Guilliman, who's been in stasis for 10,000 years at that point, and the Primaris Marines, who are from the same time that Guilliman was from, in a time where the Imperium was very different. And, you see, like, how Guilliman has to act throughout the book, and it is nerve-wracking to him throughout the entirety of Dark Imperium, because he's talking to a bunch of people who, fundamentally, it's... Imagine walking out of an atheist conference, being knocked out for, like, a day, and then waking up the next day in, like, the most religious mansion you've ever been in. Where everyone is, like, so fucking deep in the Kool-Aid of their religion that that's all they can talk about. Or that's all they can relate stuff back to. And they look at you like you're the Messiah. Just imagine how jarring that is. And to make sure that you don't piss these people off, you have to, like, sort of not lean into it, but sort of lean into it.
Yeah.
Now, this is Guilliman, he's very good at that, but at the same time, we saw and read in the Horus Heresy that Primarchs still have their limits. And it's, oh, God.
I mean, lest you forget No Fear when you got pissed. Good grief.
Oh, yeah. How did I get
that? Was, at the time when that was the whole Matt Ward false hate nonsense. That book was such a huge slap in the face for everybody who thought the Ultramarines were these stuffy book reads when they just saw Gilliman angry, genuinely angry. Like, oh no, this is bad.
Best book in the goddamn Horus Heresy. Do not at me.
Oh no, I agree. That is, in terms of the ones like I could just pick up and read from any page, that is one of the few. I mean, that whole sequence of the book of the ship going into Calth, that, you know, was it 5-second sequence of events spread out over like 9 pages, is just insane.
Someone did ask, how did I get into Warhammer 40k? So, I got into Warhammer through my father. My dad played D&D with a guy who essentially won, like, not essentially, he won Golden Demon here multiple times, like 11 times, I think.
With a sword?
I don't remember, but he won it a lot. And he got my dad into the books and Dawn of War. And Dawn of War was my and my brother's first encounter with Warhammer 40k. And we loved Dawn of War. We played it a lot if we weren't playing Mech Warrior. And then from there, my dad started reading the books, and every time he finished a book, I wanted it, so he handed it off to me, and I started reading it, and then I found out that it had a tabletop game, it had models, after my brother found out about it, and from there, it was game over.
There goes all our money.
There goes all the money.
I mean, you had Mech Warrior in the mix as well, which doesn't help.
Oh yeah. I got started,
Sorry.
like, I didn't start playing the game till about late 5th edition. Like, by the time that I had a firm grasp of the 5th edition rules, 6th edition was starting to come out.
And thankfully, that wasn't much of a big change, apart from flies being OP. I think that was the only thing that really was a big shift.
Oh, I remember the fucking rage that Helldrakes brought people.
Oh, it wasn't Helldrakes me, it was the flying Quasson.
Oh, the Doom Scythe?
The cheese Quasson, the Doom Scythe. That was the... Oh, that thing was such a mess. And Valkyries and Vultures were a real pain to deal with.
Helldrakes were annoying as shit too. They always always treat as attacking the side armor of a vehicle.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah.
And if you had rhinos and the rest, it was like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, and then they had Bale Flamers, which were the ones that like measured and then did the flamethrower attack.
Oh yeah, like the Chimeras used to have.
Yeah. That the Dread Knights had too.
Well, it was a different era.
Yeah,
But on the Dawn of War subject though, boss, how happy are you seeing the remaster nonsense been popping up?
What they do to my boy, Grimskull? How dare they? How dare they make him a goth clanner?
Was he before? Was he?
He was
Evil
Evil
Sons?
Sons.
Yeah.
They took my fast boy and made him a goth.
I'm mad about it too, don't worry.
And chat, I love the Goth Clan. I play Goth Clan, but like, Grimskull is Grimskull. It looks weird that he's in black now. It just looks weird.
It's fine. He's just going through his emo phase. Well, I am just picturing now an orc going through his literal goth phase, like it's a standard thing they all go through.
I'm a goth. I'm really tough.
It's literally
It's not a phase. It's not a phase.
I imagine like their punk phase just them being rule followers.
Oh yeah, it is. That's what the what are the
Yeah.
jump troops called?
Storm Boys.
Yeah, it's literally the Storm Boys. The fact that they rebel by doing special plans and all the rest of tactics with a Z.
But yeah, like with the remasters and such, Space Marines Definitive Edition had a lot of problems when it came out. And I'm like, how? How do you have a lot of problems? You're just adding different textures. How did you fuck that up? And
Surprisingly, pretty easy.
I was very disappointed to hear that, and now I'm really worried about the other ones. Because they also said for the Dawn of War one that they're making they're making the remake, the remaster, mod friendly. So like all the mods that work with the originals will hopefully work with this one.
Speaking of mods, there has been some. I know the one thing is one of the big mod sites has just been bought out by a big conglomerate company, which has caused a lot of concerns over legacy mods disappearing at the moment.
What?
I think it's Nexus mods.
We don't know who bought Nexus mods yet. It is they're keeping that private. But
okay,
it is an individual, and what's his name? The previous owner of Nexus said it is someone they know that is really involved with the mod community, and they wouldn't sell it to anybody unless they cared for the community. So again, don't know if that's just a PR statement yet or if they actually mean it.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, proofs in
Yeah.
the pudding.
But back on the whole Primaris thing, something that I did see in the chat actually, Knight 2 mentioned, the only problem with Primaris is the armors don't have personality, but now they're giving personalities yet. That was one thing that really did rub me up the wrong way, was the lack of customizability and just how plain everything was. It just felt, That's really annoying. And of course, the whole phasing out Firstborn, where, the sunk cost fallacy of so many people like, oh, I can't use my crap anymore. Well then, off to Horus Heresy I go, and a lot of people did leave as a result. But they are starting to bring that personality into the miniatures now, like we just have the new Black Templars models and all the other bits. It's nice they're finally going back into that. They're going out of the Stormcast style, and they're actually bringing that old school personality that defined Warhammer as it is for many people.
I don't know, I guess I'm like the weird one here, where I didn't mind them being like blank slates, essentially, when they came out. I was more just mad like how they lacked gear customization.
Yeah, that was another factor. But you go from tactical squads to bolt storms or stalker bolts, and the others was like, that's it?
Yeah, it was that kind of thing. It was gameplay stuff that I didn't like. Design wise, as a writer, I understood that, oh yeah, of course these guys wouldn't have, like, the detailed, customized armor. These are guys who haven't been on the battlefield. Their whole shtick is that they're new. So, of course, like, all their stuff's gonna look clean, all their stuff's gonna look new. So, that kind of thing. I was just
Makes
mad
sense.
that, like, I couldn't have a las cannon in the squad along with a plasma gun.
Yeah, that did really annoy, because that was one thing that made Space Marines what they were. They were versatile mid-ground. They weren't a specialized swarm unit like Custodes or similar, but they weren't a swarm unit either, despite the black tide of Black Templars back in 4th and 5th edition.
Which, by the way, Fourth War for Armageddon made me laugh so fucking hard. Because, for those that don't know, Fourth War for Armageddon came out. The story is out. But unlike a lot of the other stories, it was one and done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it ends. Like, it has a clear conclusion.
We were kind of
Okay.
expecting that, though.
Well, technically, it ends in the Armageddon sector, but they leave it trailing off.
Yeah, like there's like still plenty of battles. Like it's doing the 40k thing. There are many battles to come for the Armageddon sector, but this plot point is done. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Fourth War started, and the Grey Knights, like the Grey Knights are the center figures of this story, along with Angron, and essentially. The Grey Knights know Angron is coming back. Actually, that's the funniest thing. The Space Wolves are not the main characters here.
Really?
They're not. Like,
I can already hear the
supposed to
cries
be their
and howls
thing,
of
though.
dread.
yeah, no. So here's how it starts. So it starts with the Grey Knight prognosticars. Like, they're currently in panic mode.
Wait, who let the Silver Skulls in?
Let the Silver Skulls in. it's remnant forces that were cleaning up. It was remnant forces that were cleaning up the Third War. But so the prognosticars have a vision of Angron coming back, and they know that this one's completely accurate because it's way too visceral and it's way too real and it's way too detailed. So the prognosticars go, okay, who's nearby? All of our Grey Knight Brotherhoods are like overwhelmed, but like who's nearby? The Fifth Brotherhood. Okay, that's not enough. So what other forces do we have nearby that can reinforce them? The Black Templars and the Space Wolves. So the two chapters that hate us the most. Yes. Okay, I got an idea.
No.
The Prognosticars then send two visions out. One to Niall Stormcaller, and then the other to High Marshal Helbrecht. For Niall...
This is after Helbrecht deals with the whole Necron
yes.
duel.
Yes. For Niall, they basically trick him into thinking that Fenris is talking to him, and that Fenris convinces him to warn Logan Grimnar that Angron's coming back to Armageddon and they need to go there. And for High Marshal Helbrecht, the guy literally just puts on his Emperor costume, psychic-wise.
It is going to be the Emperor, isn't it?
Yeah, he goes to him as the Emperor and says, Helbrecht, my son, my traitorous bloody son Angron is returning. Go to Armageddon and slay him.
Isn't me all I can picture is the bit from Monty Python's Holy Grail? Arthur, Arthur, King of the Britons.
Yes, like exactly like that. And both those forces go, and they find Armageddon's a fucking madhouse. Now, Logan actually does take command of the ground forces, but that's basically the extent of what he does, and it mostly focuses on, like, his fifth captain. And then for the Black Templars, it focuses on, like, I don't remember the Brotherhood that they send in, but they send in a Castellan or something, along with his company, and they're fighting the Black Templars. Then the Fifth Brotherhood arrives, and the Brotherhood captain says, okay, so here's the plan. We need your two battle groups to distract the Khorne worshippers and the World Eaters, while we send a token force of guardsmen and my company of Grey Knights into the fire wastes of Armageddon to go blow up the Bloodgate.
And how long did the Space Wars last for?
How much drugs were they consuming when coming up with this plan?
I believe it's called Holy Incense, brother.
The Grey Knights actually did a smart thing and waited until the Black Templars and the Space Wolves were desperate enough. They waited.
I was like, are they ready yet? Let's check. No, they still have feelings of grandeur.
Basically. And then they actually did a really cool thing. So they bring a squad of 8 paladins. And each paladin is holding a shard of Angron's Black Blade.
Ooh.
And they use that in a ritual in the book. I'm not gonna spoil how it ends, but like, yeah, it's a fairly interesting read. It's a fairly fun read. It does have a conclusive ending, and it's like the best way I've described it is it's a long walk for a short glass of blood.
Yeah, I gotta say, because I didn't even know there was a fourth. I was like, hang on, this is news to me. But please, did the Steel Legion get any love? Do they get anything, or are they just there?
They're not even mentioned.
Oh, the poor bastard. Not even Andre!
no.
My boy Andre!
Like, they do mention
I
the Armageddon
wanted to
Orc
see-
Hunters.
Oh, wait, no. Andre would be long dead at this point.
He could be. You never know. He could have been put into something.
They did mention the
I
Armageddon
do
Orc
want more
Hunters.
Andre.
Yeah, just picturing Grimalda seeing Andre again. Hello, Reclusiarch!
Andre was the best part of that fucking book.
It's like, how the fuck is he still alive?
But,
Oh, that he's been made. No, Andre made into a saint. That would have been fucking hilarious.
I think the coolest thing about War for Fourth War is that new units. So World Leaders got a new unit called Jackals, and all those kinds of units. They confirmed, at least on Armageddon, that most of the Jackals came from the Armageddon Orc Hunter units,
Oh.
and they were being rallied by a woman who was like considered one of their most deadly. And she fell to Khorne because, and this is another cool thing, they actually do bring up that like Armageddon is such a fucked planet that they missed several artifacts and stone, like not Blackstone, several chaos like totems, artifacts, and areas of power from the first war, and they just completely neglected it. Hence why all these Armageddon jungle fighters got corrupted, is because they kept running into these things.
They ran in the jungles. They ran into the shrines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And
so
then,
it's essentially then
sense.
Valkyr the Bloody in 40k.
pretty much.
I do
And
miss
it
her. Does
also
she do anything these days?
The absolute hatred the orc hunters have for the orcs, and they just want to murder all of them. Well, yeah, they'd fall to Khorne.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we could just the Horcrux. Hey,
Do you want to kill orcs better?
Yes.
And then they actually do they do bring up that why the Blood Gate was never found, because it's this really big warp gate that's just kind of hang out in the Fire Waste, and it's like, why did nobody notice this? Because the Fire Waste
It's in the Fire Waste.
Yeah, it's in the Fire Waste. No one's gonna bother to go out there.
I mean, unless you're in a Titan, you're not going to do it.
And it mentions that the only safe place within the Fire Wastes is on the coast, and that's only if you're wearing protective gear as a normal human being. And it's just a nightmare to try and get through. So, of course, they're not going to give a shit about a massive gate that probably does not exist in their mind. So they just ignored it, and then the problem came back because they ignored it.
Did you enjoy the part of the book where it looked square at you and went, Nemesis Dread Knights are super cool and you should buy them?
About as subtle as the Come to New Zealand flying shot scenes of Lord of the Rings.
God, that was... It's like... It's trying to make them look so cool. It tries so hard, but all I'm imagining is some Grandmaster and his two bodyguards and these things. And it's just like... And I
I was picturing Rock'em Sock'em with Titans.
Yes! It's Rock'em Sock'em with Titans. And I just... Angron disposes of them so easily, and it hurts.
He's oh,
He doesn't even.
that's
He doesn't
cute.
even get.
Oh,
He
dear.
doesn't even get. He doesn't even get defeated by the third. He gets body checked into a portal. He's literally not even banished. He can come back tomorrow.
It's just like, That was embarrassing. Now then, I'm gonna have
Like,
this, I'm
they-
gonna have this
like-
blood protein shake.
Like they closed the portal. Like the Conqueror is in orbit. He can like just be resummoned onto that.
It's
Along with a very angry mistress of the ship, also known as the famous try her name now,
Oh.
the one that everybody loved from
Latara Sarin.
Betrayer. That's
Yeah.
it, Latara Sarin.
that you can now buy.
She isn't even the
You can
mistress of the
buy
ship
now.
anymore. She isn't even the mistress of the ship at this point. She is
She
the
is
Conqueror.
the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been subsumed entirely into the ship, hasn't she? She just
Yep.
literally,
Mhm.
she's become. If Cortana went rampant and had
Mhm.
Bloodlust took over the entire the UNSC Infinity, that is Latara's
Uh-huh.
at this moment in time.
But yeah, chat, like, Fourth War for Armageddon is a book that has a lot of fun rules in it, because if you want to play with its rule sets, effectively it's just like, hey, what if you and your friends want to play on, like, a field of corn? Like, a field blessed by corn. Or, what if all of you... Hey, Tau Empire players, what? How would you like reroll hit rolls of 1 in Melee? Why?
Oh my god, actually.
I
mean, there is a
I
thing-
remember they
there-
come up years ago. I remember that it was a White Dwarf that they did. Wasn't Zones Mortalis, but it was something like that. It was like Zones Extremis, where roll the dice would be ones where they got stormy things or was a hotter temperature or that kind of thing. So you had better gets hot rules and all the other bits. I'm pretty sure they did something like that for a bloody was. They must have taken from that White Dwarf magazine that just expanded it more, thinking, hey, why don't we do this again? This was cool.
They're doing a thing in White Dwarfs at the moment, which they're calling Aspects of War, which are basically like rules modules you can slot into 40k to change up how their game works. That's the current thing that they're kind of doing, and it's like this is a preview of how you're going to do 11th edition, isn't it? Where you have like additional like rule modules that you can include optionally. You have like a core base set of rules that you can use for tournaments and stuff, but then you have like all this other like narrative stuff that you can just bring in if you want.
So
Does
what you're telling me
Grimalda's
is 11th
return?
edition is going to be the Emperor's Tarot to decide the kind of game you're playing.
So, chat,
I mean,
I'm
pretty
gonna
much.
Chat, I'm gonna tell you all this right now. Yarick does not come back. He's a fucking corpse.
Nope.
Get over it. Grimaldus is not mentioned once in the book. He's not dead. He's still around. He's just busy. But Yarick is dead. Don't ask me about him. He doesn't appear anywhere in this book. They confirmed in the live stream announcing Armageddon there was a body.
They're not going to bring Yarick back. They're not going to bring Yarick back or someone who looks like Yarick back until they decide to actually do Armageddon Steel Legion as a thing for 40k. Moment they're not going
Just
to do that. Because
Yarick becomes a living saint.
Grimaldus is
or someone else takes up the Power Claw. That's like the only thing that would be like,
Yeah,
Commissar
I'm really
Yarick
pissed off.
Jr.
No, Commissar. No, it's going to be what's the name? Andre. Andre becomes the new Yarick.
Commissar Youngrick.
But yeah, like I had a lot of people asking, does Yard come back? And I'm like, no. I know a lot of people didn't see the live stream, and I know
That man's dead.
I know a lot of
He
you
doesn't
didn't
get- he was
fucking watch
old.
my Armageddon video, but where I used that clip. But yeah,
The thing about the book that I found especially funny was they talk constantly about the Armageddon Steel Legion, but cannot depict them in any way.
I do
'Cause
miss
it's
my
like-
Steel Legion boys.
Look, they didn't even do what I thought they were going to do, which is have them be an alternate paint scheme for the Death Corps of Krieg. Like,
they just didn't depict them.
Which-
Period.
which is like the ultimate irony, because that's where Krieg
Bare
come
minimum.
from. Uh huh.
How's it feel that they didn't even pick you? They picked a dead you. This is the Dry Bones replacing Koopa Troopa moment. But yeah, like It sucks because like the Armageddon Steel Legion is like the major thing of Armageddon, and now they're just like, thanks to how they were designed model wise, and the fuck up that was their design, we're probably never gonna see them again.
It wasn't a fuck up. It was a deliberate homage by the creators, who are historical wargamers and don't see a problem with that. Because in their brain, no one that they know would ever not get that they're meant to be like a pastiche.
Oh,
Like
it's also the problem. Oh, what's the war game called? Oh, it's the World War II one.
Bolt action.
And
Trench
you
Crusade?
can't. No.
Bolt
It's
action.
a World War II one. And
well, actually, or Flames
Nazi
of War.
Germany, the Wehrmacht, is an army you can play as, and there's a lot of contention around that.
I mean, the thing is, that's been around since long. That's been around for years. We play as the German armies. That's nothing new. Even
Yeah.
directly after the Second World War, that's always been a thing.
Yeah, the
But-
problem
Look at
comes
Call of
down
Duty.
to-
It's the context of some people take that as you supporting their ideals.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
But there are also
it
people,
always
there are also people that play those armies so that they get to then dress up as and cosplay as those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the same problem with Kriegs, Collectors, and also with Black Templars. It's that same problem.
Mhm.
A very small minority just ruins it for everyone. Again, it gets to the point where if you're a Black Templar collector, say, I'm a Templar collector, but no, I'm not a racist. You have to immediately put
Yeah,
that out there straight away.
every time someone says like, "Oh, I play Black Templars," and then the whole room goes quiet, waiting for them to like either waiting for them to just say like, "No, not that type," or like
Yeah, that's
stare at you blindly,
Mm-hmm.
and those people worry me.
I mean, I'm just picturing the way if I did Black Templars, I would literally have an ancient with a pride banner with the Templar cross.
That's a good way to do it. I like that.
Good way to do it.
It's like, yes, and here is my ancient. Like,
How to
Yeah,
diffuse
you
the
can-
situation immediately? I play Black Templars. Here they are.
yeah, literally, just like, and this is the Rainbow Crusade.
Yes.
These are my Black Templars. This is my captain. She's very strong.
Yes, this is High Mistress.
Uh-huh.
And again, what I do is I just say, they went on crusade with the Rainbow Warriors once upon a time, and the crusade hasn't ended, even though the Rainbow Warriors disappeared. Well, I did see a great joke about that, but what happened to the Rainbow Warriors? The turfs arrived.
They became Storm Wardens.
I know,
They just
Deathstrike.
literally became. Is it Deathstrike?
Deathstrike. They're the ones that have the same symbol, the same color
Oh,
scheme,
Baron-
it's a little bit darker.
Bar Imperial Fest. Well, they don't have the rainbow thing. That's like the only thing that's different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only bit's different. Yeah, because they got wiped out by Adeptus Sorcerer. Yeah, they got deleted by the turfs, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like,
Even though canonically, Adeptus Sortus, not turfs.
True.
it's... So, chat, when it comes to these kinds of factions, the Black Templars and Krieg is designed to be the World War I regiment. They're inspired by, like, all the different elements that made up World War I gear and tactics.
Mm-hmm.
You might say they're designed to go on crusades in trenches.
Yeah. And the Black Templars, of course, are supposed to be the Knights Templar. They're the crusading knights. And this can really be blamed on, like, pop culture and everything. The Knights Templar are not good guys. They were not...
They helped start capitalism.
The Crusades were, yes, religious wars, but there's the one thing you need to remember: they were wars. They were carried out for political beliefs and reasons,
Mhm.
And money.
and money,
And remember,
lots of money.
As soon as the Knights Templar stopped being convenient, they were exterminated.
Yep.
Oh, that's
No, they were driven out. Sorry, they were driven out of Europe. The reason I know this is because they showed up in Scotland and they helped us win our independence.
So
It's why we have Templar. It's why we have Templar churches in Scotland.
yeah, it's
Like,
Is that also why you have the saltire on the flag?
and
yep.
the Black Templars as an army are written to be the comedic misunderstanding of that kind of like mentality and faction. Because when you actually read on the Crusades and everything, they're horrific shit shows where it's just like, how the fuck did these guys even make it that far? Blind luck, and the fact that the Middle East, like the Middle Eastern countries, hate each other just as much as they hated the invading forces.
The Caliphate.
Yeah, the Caliphates.
And don't mistake this to be Christian bashing. They did just as horrible things as well. Okay.
There's a
You
reason
bash
why
those Christians.
there's a reason why Constantinople fell, and it's because of the Christians.
All side. Well, the Christians invaded because it was supposed to be. I forget which crusade it was, but
was
they
the fourth.
like Constantinople. It was Constantinople was like, yeah, we're kind of tired of doing this shit. It's like, all right, great, we're gonna invade you now too.
It's
I know.
messy and complicated.
The best part of it is during, I think it's the First Crusade, like the Christian army crosses into like northern, what is now Turkey, and is like, it goes in the first city it besieges is a city that like 10 years ago was a domain of Byzantium Constantinople. So it is that's a Christian city. That population is a Christian population, and the Crusaders lay siege to it, get in, and basically massacre everyone.
Yeah, this is
God will know who. God will know his own.
and it's actually a plot point that's brought up within Greetings from a Cooked Irishman. Hi, Stephen. This is actually something that is brought up in Fourth War of Armageddon, is that the Black Templars, they get on the Space Wolves' nerves immediately. Because the Space Wolves are like, hey, the people of Armageddon, they're innocent. They didn't ask for this. And like they're being rather reasonable, like as Space Wolves usually are in these books for some reason. Where they're arguing that, hey, the populations that didn't rebel are loyal, so maybe don't fucking stab them. Whereas the Black Templars are going, nah, everybody on Armageddon that didn't arrive with us, i.e. you guys and the reinforcements, everyone is guilty. Murder everybody.
Essentially, it's the purging of Constable that the Iron Hands did.
Yeah.
But in the space, and Logan Grim there sitting there going, "Oh God, another lot of them."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many months is it going to be this time? Also, to anyone that's claiming they couldn't, the Space Wolves would kick the Black Templars' arse.
Oh yeah.
There are double. There are like double the number. There are double the number of Space Wolves as there are Black Templars.
I mean, the Templars will bloody their nose, but the Wolves will completely wipe them.
It's actually in the book, it's written that the Space Wolves are actually trying to be tactical and like trying to do like tactical feints and everything. And the Black Templars ruin it by charging all the time. And the Space Wolves have to drag them out of it constantly. Yeah. And it's just I can clearly tell, like, this is the writers basically being like, no, Black Templars are fucking idiots. Stop worshipping them. And
yeah, it makes sense.
I did like the point where they pointed the Blood Crusade at like the one hive city that's still being run by orcs.
That was like, funny.
That's a problem that'll sort itself out.
Wait, is this a new book? Yep, this is the new Crusade book. I've been going out of my way to purchase new Crusade books whenever I can, because that has the new fluff in it. And every time a new Crusade book comes out, if it does progress the plot of a storyline or introduce a new one, I do make a need to know on it. and I will be making a need to know on this one.
Yeah. I also did like that in that part of the book, it specifically does say that the Weird Boys do send out a psychic signal saying there's a really good scrap going on here.
Which is fun as shit.
It's like, hey boys,
Which is like-
come. Great fight.
Which is like, oh, so you're gonna Gaz is gonna hear that, isn't he?
It's
That's my dream for 11th edition, is that the cinematic trailer for 11th edition is basically, you know how like all the cinematic trailers have been like really serious, since like Gellerman talking about stuff and all that kind of thing. I want the 11th edition one to be essentially exactly the same tone, except it's Gaz giving that, and he's really excited about going back to Armageddon.
There is a book. It's the Ragnar Blackmane versus the Gazgul book. And they straight up hype him up, and I love that shit with, like, rock and roll. It's good shit. And then, like, he has a hype man. He's got a band playing in the background. And when he comes out, he's, like, hands up in the air like Tony Stark. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna crump these wolves all but good. And like shit like that. It's funny to listen to.
Yeah. There's a great monologue. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a guy on TikTok that does the 40k monologues. He's like a voice actor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. But he's done
I
one
know
which
who you
is it's a fantasy one. But it's an orc talking to like a dwarf that they've captured, and he's like, "We don't hate ya. We think you're great. You're like little boulders that fight back." And it's like, it's that thing of like the orc mentality is just like, they don't actually hate anyone. Like,
They just want to crump a good fight. That's all they ask.
they just
That's
want to
all they
fight.
want. If you can provide a crumpy good fight, then you're their best mates. Especially if
It's
you can
gonna be
live
so-
and come back from the dead to keep going.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Like, they're just gonna. Yeah.
It's orcs are fun. Actually, orcs do appear in this Crusade book too, and it's great.
Yay!
Where'd TCOM go?
Yeah, because that's the rumor, is that the 11th edition core box is Orcs versus Space Marines.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. If it is that, give it to me. Oh.
And I'm just
God.
like, oh, so it's gonna be Armageddon. It's gonna be, the box set will be called Armageddon.
I need that.
Yeah,
I
harken
need
back
that
to
in my
was
life.
that. It was not what. It was second edition, third edition. That was the name of the what became Epic.
That was right. So there's Epic Armageddon, which was essentially third edition Epic.
That's what I'm thinking
But the main setting for the initial plot of second edition 40k was the Second War for Armageddon, and there was a board game that went along with it. And then obviously the Third War for Armageddon was in third edition, which is where we got the first Black Templar army list, the first Salamanders army list.
Helbrecht is one of the
first
best
rules.
Navy commanders of the Imperium? No.
He's a capable commander of that, but the best.
They don't tend to focus on naval stuff as much at the moment because they don't have a game.
I-
to
I
promote
do
it.
miss BFG. BFG provided
I do miss
so much good stuff.
If they bring it back and it's just for heresy, I will accept it. But I want it back for 40.
I mean that for especially like the battle at Pluto, that kind of thing. That whole sequence in was it Praetor of Dawn?
I mean, just giving Forge World the excuse to make Gloriana class spaceships. Just make the 22 Gloriana class super ships that we can have models of now.
I would not
Give me the
call
Conqueror. Give me the.
I would not call Helbrecht the greatest the greatest space commander. Honestly, I'd argue it's Samael of the Dark Angels. Because during the Battle of the Rock, Azrael entrusts the Rock, like the command of the Rock, as a battleship to Samael. He doesn't trust it to Belial. He doesn't trust it to Lazarus. He gives it to Samael.
Samael's first thought is, how do I turn this into a jet bike?
Yes, literally. It's like, he is an evil son in black armor, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you got to remember that when you're reading a lot of the Black Templars books, they hype up Helbrecht and Grimaldus a lot. But then when you actually read their books, think about how many times these two fuckers lose in a fight. And it takes Helbrecht essentially like doing very un-Black Templar things to fight Imhotep and cut off Imhotep's hand. Well, blow up his ship, basically. After being
And to be fair,
bested by
Imhotep
him.
takes it like a bro.
He can get another one.
True.
That's the whole point of why he loves having a shiny metal body.
Yeah, just he pops over to Trazen like, hey, Trazen.
He hates,
got any Gloriana
he hates
ships hiding in your
Trazen. He
collection?
actually hates Trazen.
I know he hates Trazen. He just, you can...
Everyone
love the
hates
idea of it.
Trazen.
I
I
love
just love the idea of Imhotep stealing from Trazen. That'd be hilarious. I've got Infinite Divine to read soon, actually. That's my next book on my list to read.
I do love that, like, yeah, everyone
Enjoy.
hates Trazen, but everyone hates Oricon just as much. They're the two
Oh,
most
the
hated
Divine,
people in
yeah.
their race. But for, like, two
why they
very
belong
different
together.
reasons.
That's why they belong together.
Oh, yeah. The gayest lovers, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. The one I love is I think it was Tabletop Tactics we're talking about. Like okay, so if they're going to bring back, all things point to the fact that at some point, either this edition or in a future edition, they're probably going to bring back Leman Russ in some form.
Yep.
Because, you know, money. But also, like, it's a balancing thing in terms of, like, big centerpiece models for your armies, and all the Chaos ones have one, and they want to give them to all the Space Marine ones as well.
Okay. Did they release the Space... They released Space Wolves Codex, right?
Yep.
Alright, let's try and see, like... Because people were, like, freaking out about the Beast stuff.
Hmm?
And I'm like, it's probably Loki
Yeah,
and
there's-
Lunar.
Oh, there's a couple of stratagems which can be targeted to vehicles or monsters.
Ah.
Or it can't be targeted to vehicles, can be targeted to monsters. The only thing is in the Space Marine army that have monster as a keyword are Primarchs. So, like, because Gilliman has it, then the Lion has it. So yeah, it's like you do. They'll do the Russ at some point, and then they'll give Blood Angels something, like the Spirit of Sanguinius or something like. Sanguinius has to stay dead. Yeah, but like a better Sanguinor, possibly. Like,
I'm all thinking
Sanguinor
just
currently a decent model?
lots of scroll work. Since they can now actually have them float compared to the metal model they had back in, was it 5th edition, when Finecast started showing up.
I mean, that or they'll just basically just give Dante the Primarch rules thing, where he can choose like 3 abilities because he's
Like an
Dante,
Abaddon.
and they're basically like, yeah, it's like he's basically at Primarch level at this point, like,
Oh, yes.
and you can justify it.
Through
Like, yes,
sheer
he's been
power
fighting
of
for like
old.
yeah. Although he's not apparently he's not physically as old anymore, because since he got Primarisified, he doesn't want to die anymore, according to the new books.
Boo! That was the fun part. I like my old
he's
fuck
like-
Space Marines wanting to die.
Yeah, he is he actually kind of they did like an interesting thing in his book where he like actually reckons with it and is like, it's the whole thing about I am essentially immortal, so what do I do with immortality, kind of thing.
Mm.
And then suddenly the Necrons show up.
Yeah. Well, they're actually wrestling with like the whole like they're vampires. It's like we're exploring different aspects of the fact that they are vampires.
Oh, so they're not just like, oh, we're depressed space marines that drink blood occasionally. They're actually like going down that route now.
Well, like Mephiston is like fully like down that route.
Oh, I
He's
know
like,
Mephiston's fully down that route. That's why Mephiston's fun.
Like Mephiston
what
is
you're
fully
saying
down that route. Like as Astaroth is basically fully going down, and Dante is like trying to basically do like what Sanguinius did. He's trying to walk sort of the same path that Sanguinius walked, kind of thing, of like trying to be like cultured and all this kind of stuff. What I'm like having like things that he has to live for, while also having this like bloodlust kind of thing.
Mm.
Because he's like physically stronger now because he's a Primaris. Like a lot of his like things were like healed by that.
We cured your space depression, says
Yep.
Belisarius
Oh
Call.
dear. Have you tried thinking better?
Have you tried exercising? Have you tried like doing like these things that will improve your mental health?
That's the thing. It's literally just that bloody meme.
No, Dante, you need to smile more.
For fun. Yeah. Yeah, but his next model has the death mask smiling.
Or he can like swap them over like hexadecimal.
This is tragedy and.
By the way, just to
yeah,
say this,
poverty.
on the Fulgrim model, I do love they have him smiling in one of his face poses.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
All I can picture with that smile is the Jim Carrey smile. That's all I can see with that one.
That is
Like Ace
totally
Ventura
fair.
smile.
But like, sorry, what they were talking about is like, okay, so where do they go after that? Because you've basically done all the Primarchs, and it's like, well, if you're gonna like in a couple of it, like probably a couple of editions time, maybe around 12th when you want to get a big sales boost or all that kind of stuff. The easy ones to bring back are like Dorn and Perturabo. Perturabo's out there, and Dorn we don't know about.
Yeah.
Also, Dorn has a supplement army that he can then be slotted into, which then has a whole bunch of like interesting story things. They were like, "Oh, imagine Dorn coming back and leading the Black Templars," and I'm like, "No, imagine Dorn coming back and being disgusted by the Black Templars and making them change."
Oh, that would be so please.
Like,
You know,
imagine a Black Templar civil war. Where it's like he comes back and he's like, "This is wrong. You should not be doing this." And Grimalda and Helbrecht is like, "Oh well, clearly he's wrong." It's
Here
like you're
comes
making
the
a
Dornian
massive
heresy.
Well, not even that, but you're making like a huge thing about like religious hypocrisy. It's the whole like if Jesus came back now, evangelicals would denounce him.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
So
I would just see him dealing with the Crimson Fists. You would just look at them. Yep, these are my boys.
I find
Mhm.
Dorn to be an extremely boring character.
yeah,
Me
But
and
that's
a
why
lot
we
of other
love
people-
him.
Me and a lot of other people. And that's the problem with him is that he's designed to be that way. He's designed to be the boring one. But then like when you read like the first few Horus Heresy books, he doesn't come off that way at all.
no, he's just angry.
He's just angry. Or like you're getting it from someone else's perspective. And like he's just like incredibly like patient and nice. Cuz like you're getting it from Loken's perspective in the first book. And when,
What I would want them to do is if they bring him back, it's like he has like the meeting with Helbrecht and he like plays for him like the conversation that he had. Like I assume he has like a recording thing or something in his armor. He plays for him like the a recording of like, or shows him like a hologram of like the conversation he has with Sigismund about where he's basically like, we are done. Like you are shamed forever for this thing that you are doing.
yeah,
Kind of,
you
know that
you
whole-
defied my order and listened to some crazy bitch over me.
yeah. yeah, it's like you are a failure, all that kind of stuff, and like he plays that from and Hellbright like has this like knowledge and is basically like, nope, I reject this. Like I just like fundamentally do not accept reality.
That's actually something. Ooh. So, knowing Grimaldus, would Grimaldus side with him on that one, or would Grimaldus go with Dorn?
Probably with Dawn, knowing Grimaldus.
Because Grimaldus, when you read about Grimaldus, he's usually like a pretty sane individual, I want to say, compared to like everyone else. Same for a Black Templar. And a lot more reasonable than a Black Templar. Because, like, in the book, like, in his book, and along with him, like, helping the Celestial Lions, he's like, hey, no one would blame you guys if you left and, like, rebuilt. Like, very, very reasonable in that way. Whereas, like, everyone else would have been like, nah, you die for the glory of the Emperor and everything. Didn't Dorn forgive Sigismund at the end of the heresy? He fucking didn't! He fucking did not forgive him! He said...
He just said, you're still a naughty boy, but I want you to do what you do best.
Yeah, like, go do what you do best. There was no forgiveness. There was basically like, hey, I can't allow I can't allow morale to get shittier, so, I am tolerating your bullshit so you can go do your job. And the only reason I'm talking to you directly is because I don't want the enemy, like, hacking our comms and seeing this shit. So go out there as the Emperor's champion or whatever and go murder shit. That is their conversation.
Meanwhile, you have Alexius Pollux being the good boy.
Alexis Pollux is best Imperial Fist, and I will fight each and every motherfucker.
Well, that's why my boys are Crimson Fist descendants. He literally was the most level-headed but brutal one. I need to read the novel about Iron Blood.
Chad, you'll never be as big of a hater as Alexis Pollux was. Because, like, as this motherfucker is dying from a Drukhari poison dart, he grabs his successor by the cuff of his armor, pulls him down onto his knees, and says, get out your notebook. I'm going to educate you on how to kill aliens before I die. And his successor's like, sir, you are literally dying of poison. Like, don't you want to mercy die or something? Like, don't you want me to mercy kill you or something? And he's like, not till I'm done! And it's the funniest shit.
It's like, you are wasting my time. My time is limited. Listen and write down exactly what I'm telling you.
Exactly, and it's funny as shit. Like, Alexis Pollux, best lad. I actually had his model for Horus Heresy, but then I gave it to the Imperial Fist player in my town.
Yeah, I want to get that model so I can make a chap. Well, I already have the Pedro counts as my Vanquishers, but I'd love to do another one for them as like first captain or something.
He had a sick as fuck shield. I don't know why, but this is the first I heard of him. Damn, I am missing out. Yeah, no, Alexis Pollux, in the Horus Heresy, he was introduced in the fleet battle between the Imperial Fists and the Iron Warriors. I don't remember the name of the battle.
Foul, was it?
I think it was Fall. But,
yeah, PHALL.
He was a part of the Imperial Fist fleet that was being sent to the Drop Site Massacre to back them up, basically. And that fleet got stranded in the warp near Fall, with most of the command crew dying, and command falling to Alexis Pollux. And
he was the captain of the 405th Company, to give you an idea of just how irrelevant he was.
Yeah, he was completely irrelevant in, like, the political sphere. And so he spent his time around the fall system because he didn't know what was going on. He didn't have any intel, so his best idea was to sit and wait. Because he just couldn't get a hold of anybody from the drop site massacre, because everyone was fucking dead. Or currently on the run to make sure they don't get killed. And so Perturabo, who was waiting for this fleet, and who he thinks Sigismund is leading this fleet, by the way. Perturabo. And if Sigismund was leading the fleet, the Imperial Fist fleet would have been wiped out. But it's the fact that Alexis Pollux was leading it that threw everybody off. Because eventually the Iron Warriors got sick of waiting and popped up and started attacking them. And Alexis Pollux, yeah, he was up against a Primarch leading a armada, but he had a very good defensive position and he wasn't going to give it up. And let's put it this way. Alexis Pollux, outside of Fulgrim, was the only other character in Horus Heresy to get close enough to killing a Primarch.
Yeah, he bloodied Perturabo's nose, and he got very grumpy about it by the time Angel Exterminatus rolled around.
And the reason why Alexis Pollux wasn't able to defeat the Iron Warriors is because Alexis Pollux is a soldier. When Dorn ordered the Imperial Fist fleet to retreat and come back to Terra, Alexis Pollux had a decision in his hands. He could have, A, either did as Dorn told him to do, or B, at the cost of the Imperial Fist fleet, wipe out the Iron Warriors, or cripple them in such a way that they would not have been able to continue the Horus Heresy. And Alexis Pollux is a soldier at heart who listens to his superiors. So he retreated from Fall and wound up in the Ultramarine system.
And if anything, that probably pissed off Perturabo more the fact he didn't hang around.
Yeah.
For him to settle the score. That just pissed him off something severe. So he comes up and he fucking runs away. I am not a happy buddy. I mean, he never was. He was even more grumpy than usual.
Yeah, it's actually why Perturabo, from there on in, has the Iron Circle following him around, because of that battle.
I mean, a regular fucking Astartes gets a Primarch so fucking paranoid. He makes 20 big fuck-off automatons to follow him around because he's that terrified of just how close he came to death. And he won't admit it.
Funniest shit you'll ever read. And then later on, Alexis Pollux would go on to defend the Pharos Beacon, which would fail because it's 100 Imperial Fists and a couple of Ultramarines and some Iron Warriors against the majority of the Night Lord's Legion. God, Battle of Pharos is such a fucked fight. But yeah, that's, it's one of those moments in the Horus Heresy where, it's one of those best what-if scenarios that you could actually talk about in Horus Heresy. What if Alexis Pollux did pull it off? He'd be dead, obviously, but, so would the Iron Warriors, and how would that play out for the rest of the war?
That would be, that affecting the Siege of Terra would have been colossal.
And as well, if Perturabo's dead, Fulgrim doesn't have anyone to steal the life essence of to ascend to demonhood. So Fulgrim doesn't ascend to demonhood in that way. So it leads to a lot of uncomfortable questions for the Horus Heresy in general.
It still sounds to me. I would love to have had an alternative where the Iron Warriors and the Fists actually got on. apart from just Dantioch and Pollock. I would have loved to have seen that.
All right, Dantioch and Pollux got along. Because they were both, like,
you
rational individuals.
Yeah, just like actual, two companies with the full Legion work together. Just be like, okay, we're gonna build it, you're gonna break it. You break, we build, and vice versa.
Chat, for those that don't know, Dantioch was a Iron Warriors captain, well, warsmith, who hated Perturabo. He did not like him. And the Primarch, in turn, did not like him back. So much so that when the opportunity came, Perturabo just dumped his ass on a fucking volcano fortress and said, defend it. And Dantioch would. And then when the Horus Heresy broke out and Perturabo sent a force to basically go to that fortress and say, give us your ammo and arms on order of the Primarch, Dantioch already knew the Horus Heresy was in full swing. He already picked his side, and he said, and I quote, come take it, I dare you.
Essentially, it was one of the Texan battles, I think during the Texan-Mexico War. You know, the famous flag of the cannon saying come and take. It was quite literally that in 40k.
Yep. And the Iron Warriors, loyal to Perturabo, they do besiege the fortress. And no, this isn't like a fortress on like the side of a volcano. It is in the volcano. It is suspended above a magma flow. It's like that fucking factory in episode 3 of Star Wars, basically. And so Dantioch and like a couple of Iron Warriors squads are holding this fortress against an onslaught of Iron Warriors. Have a good day, Jonathan.
Much love.
And eventually, they just burn through all the ammo. And Dantioch's just smiling to himself, because, like, his men are like, sir, we're out of ammo, what do we do? We still have fuel, right? Yeah? Oh, cool, then load up the Stormbirds, we're leaving. What? Yeah, I got a ship, like, behind the moon. We're gonna, like, load up who's left onto those ships and leave. But, sir, we can't just give the fortress to them. Oh, we are. And it will become their grave. So, he leaves, leaving the front door unlocked. The Iron Warriors storm on in, and he left them a fucking shit-eating grin message, basically saying, okay, you have it, bye, and blows up the structural supports, keeping this thing suspended above the lava flow. He wipes out a full company of Iron Warriors just by doing that. And then fucks off to Ultramar where he dies. And then
It just made me think of that, the Nova Bomb. For those who've read Halo First Strike, when Vice Admiral Danforth Whitcomb leaves a Nova Bomb and a message for the Covenant when they rock up in one place, this is what it does. This is how it works. It is already activated. Goodbye. I mean, literally just the description is nuts. The Nova Bomb is a cluster of 9 nuclear fusion warheads encased in a lithium titanide case. So it's literally just like, the lithium titanide shell focuses the blast upon itself, multiplying destructive power of 100-fold of these 9 nuclear fusion warheads, giving Nova Bomb an unprecedented payload for its size. It's literally capable of destroying planets.
Bye. It's... And no, those Iron Warriors would later on become the guys that founded the Silver Skulls and the Sons of the Emperor.
Really? I didn't think they were Sons of the Emperor.
Yeah, no, the Sons of the Emperor, the Sons of the Emperor make mention of him because they make mention of the guy who saved Sotha. And that the Chapter Master has his helmet.
What, with the face mask?
Yeah. And he said as he like looked at it, it feels like he's looking at me and that I'm a failure. And I'm just like, yep, that's Dantioch.
Yep.
Because the size of the Emperor are famous for being eaten by High Fleet Kraken.
Yep, and there was very little left until the Indomitus Crusade rocked up. But yeah, that was one of the great modeling opportunities in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th edition, was that whole last survivors using Tyranid bits all over their armor. I mean, you had the Tyrannic War Hunters, or Tyrannic War Veterans from Ultramarines back in the day in 4th edition. A lot of them were just made to the size.
I'm almost done this guy. I just need to finish his backpack, ink him up, and he'll be done. But yeah, like, I'm very happy that 40K fluff is expanded upon a lot of more things now. And I'm very happy with how the chat, as a creator, one of the most annoying things that I have to deal with is, it's not as bad as like comic book creators have it, but trying to keep up with the fluff of 40K can be very annoying.
Yeah, can confirm. Once you fall off the wagon, it's very hard to get back on, unless you look for specific pieces. Like, because again, Games Workshop went and literally vaulted some of the most important pieces of lore that have happened in recent years. Whether it is Gilliman waking up, the Arcs of Omen, what's going on in the Natchman Gauntlet, all that bits before that, you cannot get them anymore unless you have access to Warhammer Vault, or the old Imperial Armor books, the War for Badab, one of the best books of its era. You cannot get access to unless you either pirate it on the high seas or you get the Warhammer Vaults.
And chat, puts on my pirate hat. I will never encourage pirating. Pirating is bad. Pirating leads to a lot of starving workers that the companies clearly aren't paying for. So, like, don't steal, chat, he says with his pirate hat on. If only there was a way. If only.
All I'm just picturing now is just Huron Blackheart just grinning with Glee in the background.
Yes! God. GW, I will be forever grateful if you make a new Huron model. Please, I'm begging. I'm on my knees. His model is old. It's bad. I hate it. Give him a new model, please.
The monkey paw curls. Congratulations, he's a demon prince.
Actually, I'd be fine with that. I would be fine with Huron Blackheart as a demon prince. Because, like, his model is so fucking ugly.
That should have been a dreadnought.
Listen, I like Huron. I love him. He's one of my favorite Chaos characters. I love my Sons of Medusa and Bad Dab War. It's either Sons of Medusa for the Loyalists, or I'm playing Astroclaws. Fuck the lot of you. I love them. I love them so much. They're such arrogant dickheads. And
speaking of which, we still need to do that whole discussion of us defending the different factions of Madame War. That still needs to be done.
Yeah, I gave Owl like a ton of resources to learn on the Star Phantoms. And I haven't gotten around to it because I got busy, right?
Yeah.
Because
shit happened.
Yeah, tournament happened and everything. And by the way, that video is coming along. Holy fuck, is it gonna be long? I kind of underestimated it. And I'm not.
You're gonna have to put in. You need to put in intermissions with the music and handing out chalk ices or something.
I also kind of underestimated how back I am mentally. Like overestimated, because I'm like trying to edit and everything, and being away for 6 days from the editing chair. Oh god, I'm out of the workflow, and I need to get back into it. Like, I'm sitting here going, like, it's taking me a lot longer to do things that, like, I was rapid firing out no problem. And now I'm just like, okay, that goes there. That goes there. Where the fuck is this thing that allows me to like swivel my program? And it's just like, what's it called again? Note to self, when I go away for an extended period of time, and I know like a lot of people are like, 6 days is an extended period of time. It's extended period of time to me. Note to self, write it the fuck down.
Yes, absolutely. A lot can happen in 6 days with lots of inputs that's going to push everything out of the mind.
And as well, when I was writing the script, I noticed that I wasn't going into a lot of detail about the games themselves, like I did with the other tournament videos. And I'm just like, oh god, yeah, trying to remember, like, things that happen over the course of 3 days. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, the way one of my friends did, they just did, like, they did cliff notes, so they just had, like, a shorthand stuff like T2, this dead, this dead, this dead, or they had markers, like, on a list, so they could then just say, this person died in this one, and then this, and this happened. But it's not an easy task.
Though I did do something that I don't know if a lot of you would be proud of. What editing program do you use? Reluctantly, until I have more time to learn DaVinci, I'm using Adobe. Do I recommend
Could be worse,
Adobe?
could be Windows.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, I'd say could be worse, could be Windows Movie Maker. The deathly silence, the PTSD I just triggered.
It could be Windows Movie Maker. It could be. But would I recommend Adobe?
Just triggered.
Would I recommend Adobe? No. Adobe is a fucking asshole. They constantly do not fix the problems that are clearly stated within their programs. They constantly are just user hostile most of the time. They've introduced AI generation. I fucking hate it. And it flashes, by the way. Their AI generate button flashes at you. So it's that constant blinking fucking light. And I want to punch the fucking investor that said put that in there. I want to punch them. Oh my god. The program will freeze up randomly because it's trying to process a clip that you've been editing for like the past 50 minutes without any problems until that point. And then, God forbid, it crashes when you're trying to export. God forbid. It is not a good program. It is not, it should not be industry standard. Fuck you, Adobe. Until I learn DaVinci, I have to use you. And you suck! Flashing, not good if you're sensitive to flashing. It's not like...
It's more of a pulse than, than like a rapid flash.
Yeah, it's like gently pulsing, and it's like your eye notices it, and that's what pisses me off.
The way to describe it is basically if Adobe had Navi.
I get violent when it comes to AI now. I am very violent about it. Like, someone says, like, well, I used it for, like, doing X because I don't have... No. You chose to do it because you're a lazy fuck. You chose to use AI because you're a lazy fuck. That's it.
And it comes down to the two different brands. Generative AI and the AI used for analysis. That's... Everybody uses generative now. It's like, oh, but it's so much easier if I need to come up with these concepts. Like, just pay someone to do it.
Eat my ass. Hey,
there are all these artists that need money and have capabilities and can do it in wonderful qualities that AI certainly cannot do. I mean, I love the trend people are doing right now of un-AIing artists. Like, they come across, like, some random AI thing made, and they make it in their own two hands. It looks even better every bloody time.
Yeah. And chat, I will never forgive AI for doing this. I'm rooting for Disney and fucking Universal. I'm rooting for them.
They pissed off the mouse.
They pissed off the mouse.
That is...
And the globe.
What? What? Oh, using AI?
And if their lawsuit goes through, I know that like it's probably solely gonna benefit like the big corporations like Disney and Universal and Warner Brothers. But at the same time, I don't give a shit because I just want these AI fucking generative companies to die. They're useless. They're garbage. They have admitted they can't function without stealing shit. We have put people in prison on death row for less. And you're telling me your fucking bullshit company can't survive without doing the thing we've all deemed illegal for years? And the only reason you want to get away with it is because, daddy wants it. Fucking die! I'm sorry, my anger is very visceral about this.
It's almost like it affects you directly.
It does affect me directly. Especially since especially since YouTube introduced AI generative shorts. I hate
Is this shorts
it.
bad enough as they are?
I hate it.
So sad. But I'm waiting for it to pop like microtransactions are gonna do. It's gonna have another .com bubble effect. Won't be now, won't be for a while yet because there are other distracting things happening in the world at the moment. But it's gonna happen eventually.
It's
I mean, they're already
predicted that
poisoning
probably
generative
by-
AI.
It's probably predicted by sometime next year that it's gonna pop.
I mean, right now, people are weaponizing it, where they're deliberately making fall into tar pits, where they're starting to poison their stuff by putting, like, everything seems to be going through the Gears of War piss filter at the moment, with stuff being generated through OpenAI or whatever the versions they are, because people are deliberately poisoning by putting in terrible stuff, so it becomes the Ouroboros of just eating itself all the time.
Yeah, they were trying to get that banned, which is funny.
Yeah.
The AI companies were trying to get like anyone who puts like malicious code into like their images or into like their text files or whatever, like, oh, that's an illegal thing to do, and it's like, no, it's not.
Don't scrape it.
Yeah.
How would you know
It's a very
if you
simple-
weren't scraping it?
Yeah, it's like, oh, is that a problem? Have you considered, the fact it says, do not scrape this or bad things happen? It's literally like finding a cursed thing in the Mummy. It says it's cursed. Open it.
And again, chat, like, AI's never going back in the box. We have opened Pandora's box. It's not going back. And so, like...
It didn't come out. It didn't come out of the box. We have had half of this technology for 10 years, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, and... like, this is where...
I had predictive text on my phone a decade ago.
Yeah, and...
True.
Like, am I fully against AI? I'm fully against generative AI, but AI tools that are meant to assist in the process of study and or function, I very much would love those things. I would love a program, as I've said before, that tells me, hey, your audio pitches here too much. So I shortened it down for you. Listen to it. Did I do a good job? Yes, thank you very much for that. Getting things that I can't catch, or like doing small things for me that help in the process. I'm still creating it, I just have something helping me instead of doing it for me. I'm fully on board with that. Or for research, having an AI stay up all night running those tests for you while you're asleep, and then you wake up and look through all the documentation the next morning, perfectly fine. Because you weren't running those experiments when you were asleep. It's not generating those experiments. You put all the parameters in place for it to run those parameters. And then come to logical conclusions. That's good shit. And we are doing that. But it's the fucking loser tech bros and their sycophants that are pushing generative AI bullshit, calling themselves artists when they're not, and just being the most annoying pieces of shit.
Yeah, I'm more of an artist there just by doing in-game screenshots.
Pick up the pencil. Pick it up.
It's just like, here, make a stick figure. It takes work. Keep going, keep going.
And then, chat, I never would have learned what a Luddite is until those fuckers said it.
What, Luddites?
And then I learned that they're using Luddite wrong. Which is par for the course for people like that. And I'm just like, I did not have to become educated on Luddites until now. It's just,
As long as they don't get clogs, we're basically fine. But if we can start throwing clogs into like the AI machines, that'd be funny.
yeah. Like, chat, I try to be optimistic as well. I try to be an optimistic person. Despite, like, how I come off and, like, how I sound, I try to be optimistic in my day-to-day life. And it's hard to be an optimist. It is hard to be an optimist, especially in these times. But, like, I genuinely think, like, we're getting close to a time where these kinds of things are gonna be... Like, these kinds of problems are going to be the thing of the past. I genuinely feel that way, because those generations that are causing all these problems, they're being removed slowly. It's painful. We're feeling the death throes kind of a thing. And we will eventually, like, get common sense back. And that a lot of these bad actors and everything will be pushed out. It's just taking forever. What were we gonna say? Well, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. It's the what's the animal lashes out when it's back, when it feels it's in a corner, and that's what a lot of these reactionary groups are doing at the moment, is they're lashing out violently because they have seen their position eroded progressively.
Yeah, and it's just, you gotta wait it out. And I did watch a very good video on from, I can't remember his name, god damn it, he's the guy with the yellow crowbar. And it's like, I did this thing today, but stuff still happened. So what's up? That guy. And watched a video of his, and he's just like, you don't need to be on top of everything. You don't need to know everything that's going on. Like, your brain matters, so please take care of it. Don't overwhelm it.
The war in Ukraine changes lives in a second.
Oh my god. I just had like an ad play for like the war in Ukraine. Oops.
For or against?
I don't know. I didn't let it play out.
Apparently a lot of people in over here have been getting bombarded with pro-Israel ads on YouTube. This has been fun.
I've not seen any of those thus far. I've had a lot of Red Cross and White Shield ones, but I've not seen any of the other ones thus far.
What I haven't been getting on YouTube that I was getting continuously for about 6 months was the same Artist Opus brush advert, Artist Opus course advert with Byron from Artist Opus trying to sell his art, which his art course looks good, like his mini painting course looks sweet. But it was the same fucking advert over and over and over again, to the point that I'm just like, I am just not buying this on principle now.
Oh,
You seem like a decent guy. You look like you could actually teach me really good dry brushing. I am not giving you my money.
So funny thing that happened today, actually. So, getting off like this depressing topic. So, like I said, I went to Costco today. I bought groceries and everything. Desperately need to buy groceries. And I buy a flat of pop, right?
Mhm.
So in that flat of pop, me and my brother did not notice one of the cans had a breach.
Oh,
So
no.
when my brother went to pick it up to bring it inside the house, because he was also going to have lunch here, he's like, huh, why does this feel really wet? And why is my hand getting sticky? Like sticky from pop.
Yeah.
He puts it down and he sees like Coca-Cola leaking out of it, and he's like, huh, okay. Opens up the flat, and finds that one of the Coke cans had a small hole in it, and it was just gushing, like a small stream of Coke just pouring out of it.
Mhm.
And it was pressurized too, so it was just like,
Oh.
and he's like, I come upstairs, he's like, I was putting food away in the basement, and he's like, hey, should we have a Coke can that has a breach in it? It's just pissing Coke.
I mean, it's an incontinent can of Coke.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? So he shows me, and I recorded a video of it. And it's something I never thought I'd see, but it's funny as shit.
I absolutely adore the videos of people going to Costco for the first time. Because I've been
Yeah, that
going
was
to
an
Costco for years.
experience.
Yeah, I've been going to Costco for years, and obviously I go there now because of my job to get stuff for to restock our events and stuff. But seeing the videos of people going in for the first time and being even the British ones, which are basically the same as the North American ones, but we have different stuff. Obviously, our the big difference is the produce tends to be different things in general.
Yeah.
Up in the meat sections, so, all the cans of Coke in the flat and that's all basically just the same. But just seeing all the people's different reactions, and then seeing people that are used to the North American ones, and they get to the front, and it's yeah, the hot dogs are still $1.50 even in the UK. It's £1.50. It's not $1.50, but it's £1.50. But
In Canada, that would be $3.
yeah, is it not $1.50 in Canada?
No, it's
for the hot dog?
it's $1.50 here in Canada.
Yeah. So we still get hammered by inflation, but it's still technically a $1.50 hot dog.
Also, I have found the neat trick to orange painting it.
Mm-hmm.
Orange loves being painted on top of white.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried it on black. That was a mistake when I did my Chaos Marines.
Yep.
I still tell you, base it in pink, highlight it in white, then coat it in orange, and it shades your orange.
I gotta kill a bot. 1 sec.
Get it?
Be gone, bot.
Suffer not the
Damn your
anomalous
silly-
mind to live.
Damn your silicon, or was it abominable intelligence? But yeah, it's just one woman's video. It's like she's at Costco. It's why can I buy a bar of gold? Why is this a thing that I can just buy here? Why is there an entire tree?
We're not talking about the bar of gold as being the gold bar chocolate bar that we have in the UK.
No, as in you can buy a gold bullion piece. You can buy a gold bullion bar in Costco. They have a registered gold trader in all the stores, pretty much.
Oh.
I don't think you can sell to them, but I think you can buy from them. So if you want to know what the price of gold is by the pound, you can find out.
So I've always been confused as to where Tyberos got the size of a Primarch or Dreadnought allegations. From how we remember him being described, he's a head taller than his fellow Marines, so it doesn't sound like he's the same size as Gilliman.
Nope.
That's because people on YouTube...
Because Forge World modeled him that way.
Forge World modeled him that... Well, no, he's not that very big as a Forge World model. I have him right
It wasn't a big model in Forge World either, no. I mean, even the...
I have him right
I'd say
here.
he's probably about the same size as a Primaris captain in Gravis armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was just bigger. I thought the model was just bigger.
No, he's actually smaller than a regular Terminator.
Oh, so it's not a
Model-wise.
Hector Rex. It's not a Hector Rex situation where they just sculpted him to the wrong scale, which is apparently what happened with Hector Rex.
Yeah,
which is
no.
why he's described as being a giant.
Yeah, no, it's
Um.
So the reason why is because in Bad Dab War he is described as being tall, but he's tall because he's standing in Terminator armor.
Yeah.
And tons of people on YouTube took that to mean that like he's super tall, like very big, when that's not what it says at all. He's not Primarch sized. He's not like this really tall guy. It's just overhype from YouTube content creators and a piece of official artwork of him towering over a Mantis warrior.
Is that even official artwork?
I don't think that's official. I actually don't think that's official.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll look it up.
I've got the artwork. It's yeah.
Comes from the 40k wiki, which that's I don't know. This is official, actually.
That's not official artwork.
There's
No way that's official art. That's not official artwork. There's no way that's official artwork because that's nothing like the style of any of the Forge World stuff.
That's actually really
It's
fair.
it's more akin to the artwork from the covers of the Heresy books.
That's actually really
It's got
fair,
that
yeah.
it's got that posed 3D model thing, which is what like those were. They were like.
And chat, just to let you all know, his claws don't do that. Hunger and Slake don't do that.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It looks cool, but they don't do that. What other games do you play? Play Helldivers, I play Halo, I play Mega Man, Battle Block Theater, Total War, Mech Warriors, give me a Valve game, I'll love Valve.
I mean, speaking of Halo, Griffball is finally back!
Woo!
And I've been having a lot of fun with that as the ex-League commentator and champion in one season, just one. It's like, I've been enjoying that thoroughly. It actually bumped into Bernie Burns a couple of days ago.
Oh, shit!
I beat him.
You beat Bernie?
I beat Bernie. I beat the creator of Griffball. I am now the god of Griffball. Not really, not in any way, shape, or form.
Is this just is this a situation where like Reggie Fils-Aimé was like fighting like the champion of Smash Brothers, and like that guy was like ribbing on him a little bit, and he says, "I run a multi-billion-dollar company while you just play video games in the basement all day."
No, he didn't communicate at all, sadly, because I did message him say, much love from next Griffball Hub caster, because I used to go to RTX. I actually casted games at RTX on the main stage, and bumped to like Barbara and a few other peeps from there at the time. Never got to meet Bernie, sadly, but it was fun to be like, hang on, is it Bernie Burns? I looked at it, account 23 years old. It's like, shit, it is Bernie Burns.
I
juked him. I literally it got to the end. It was like it's 2-1, 3 to win, and I completely juked around him and another player to score at the end. That was disrespectful in the highest order.
I actually, so funniest thing is that while I was at the Warhammer Open, I got recognized out in the open. And I don't know what I did, but, like, I don't know why people didn't come up and, like, ask. Outside of, like, the few people that did. And, like, the only person that did come up and ask was a head judge. But, and then the other person that asked was one of my opponents. And he only asked because, like, I walked up because I was going to play him. And he's like, wait, are you that guy from, like, TikTok or something? And I'm like, which one? And he's like, the guy with the mole, announcer of games, right? I'm like, yeah, that's me. And... But, like, so many people apparently recognized me that I was there, and... I guess I didn't make myself, approachable? Is the word I'm gonna say here? Like, I didn't, like...
Were you working?
I was in the middle of games, yeah.
In which case, yeah, you know, that's probably half the reason you're focused on that. I mean, if I saw that, I wouldn't bother you middle of the game. You would wait for a game to end or anything like that to shake your hand. So I imagine that was also the reason. But also, this is Warhammer. We're not exactly social creatures in person. Online, absolutely.
I mean, fair. I just... What is a game of Warhammer like?
Like,
Lots of cursing at dice. I'm trying to keep one standing up.
It's...
okay. Have you played chess? If so, it's not like that.
It is a 3D war game with lots of models running around and a lot of dice. At minimum, you're like rolling 10 dice. Minimum.
I'm just picturing, you know, if you're playing with me, all you just hear is me overheating my plasma guns. He overheats. He dies. He overheats. He dies.
I need to run
Every
like a,
bloody game.
I need to run like a Discord wide Crusade game.
I guess.
I think that'd be fun.
I mean, if we could get TTS set up, we could just play 40k on stream.
That's totally fair. I would love to do that, actually. Dice decided the game. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And with my Lament of Luck, usually it means I end up horribly losing by turn 4.
So, a game of Warhammer 40k is... You have an army. You have their book. Their book contains all their special abilities, rules, and their unit costs. You and your opponent agree on a points cost that you will play at, and then you build your army around that point cost. Then you bring them to a table that's usually 44 by 60 inches. You set up a whole bunch of terrain, so like buildings or like trees or boulders, whatever the fuck. Or if you're poor, like the rest of us, you set up like whatever the fuck's around the house, like books, just whatever the fuck. Then you and your opponent roll off to see who goes first. You deploy your armies. Then you have a turn where you move, you shoot, you charge, you punch. Then your opponent gets a turn to do it. The round's over. You reset. You do this about 5 times. That is the best way to put Warhammer 40k and how it plays.
Plus, there's all the banter between you. If you have a good teammate and you have a lot of fun, you can have a lot of fun building stories with characters as they go through. Especially if you can do certain, if you say lines to each other.
Yep.
It's rare, but when it happens, it's fucking marvelous.
Currently right now, I am painting up an Emperor's Children army. And it's taking forever because, like, I had to choose the most annoying color scheme in the world. But
Did you make the Flawless Host?
No. I'm making my own group. Called the...
They're also white, though.
Their primary color is white.
Oh.
And I chose purple as their secondary.
As the boy who does purple and silver, I do not envy you.
And I came up with fluff for them because I love these idiots so much. And yes, 40K, by the way, it does have a competitive scene, but it is very much a game where you can't really make it balanced.
Gods, they've tried.
Gods, they've tried. Balancing in 40K is that you take a stick to the army currently causing problems, and you beat it to within an inch of its life.
Pretty much. I mean, the term nostril fucked from orbit is still very apt when it comes to how they've nerfed certain armies over the years.
Like, Death Guard, they got nerfed at the start of 10th edition, and now I suspect they're going to get hit with an even worse stick. Because of how well they did, oh, they were really, really disgusting at the open.
I believe, boss, that's called a bar of soap.
How do you play Crusade, by the way? Okay. Crusade. So, Crusade is the campaign, rule set for Warhammer 40K. It technically counts as open play. So that means you can do whatever the fuck you want. Because it's your campaign. So usually, like, I'd recommend having a dungeon master, like one person to run it, but that person should still be able to play in it. Because, like, you're all just trying to have a good time. So, everybody plays missions. Everybody plays objectives. Each unit in your army that you bring that is not a named character, and gets experience points unless stated otherwise. So, like, for my Emperor's Children, if I have Demons of Slaanesh in my army, Demons of Slaanesh can't get experience points. Period.
Makes sense.
But the rest of my army does. Then, those experience points can be used on upgrades for your army. So, like, your units. Like, one unit can get a really good ability where they can reroll charges or something like that. But that unit only. And then, if a unit gets killed, it's not dead. It's not dead yet. You roll a d6, and if you roll a 1, then they get a battle scar, which is a detriment to that unit. So, like, they're scarred by the horrific casualties they took. So they take a permanent -1 to their leadership, which can be stacked upon. And you guys keep going until the campaign comes to a rightful conclusion. And all those Crusade books that GW released are meant to expand upon that gameplay style. But you
essentially, it's D&D 40K.
Yeah, it's D&D 40K. It's essentially like what wargaming was back in the day, where you essentially come up with a story, the reasons as to why your characters are there, why your faction's fighting there, and it's just meant for fun. It's all shits and giggles. And I would love to run a Crusade for my mods and those who are interested in playing it. Because Crusades are generally a very fun thing to play, so long as you have someone to balance it out. Or, like, hopefully someone doesn't fucking snowball. Because when Crusade was first introduced in 8th edition, holy fuck did it have a lot of problems. A lot of factions could snowball really badly. And if someone was playing a competitive army, you just weren't beating them because it's not in the competitive armies in Crusade are not in the spirit of Crusade.
Well, it's also the thing of like if you as if you don't have a DM, if you have a DM or like a Crusade, someone like in charge of the Crusade, like a War Master, which is apparently the term that we should use for people that run Crusades, and I love that.
I do like that too.
If you have a War Master, they can come up with scenarios that offset the competitive 40k army. You can just do that. Like, it's like, I mean, back in the day at tournaments, we used to have comp where if you were playing certain armies, you just got more points. Like, because that army was considered weak.
Just the poor bastard showing with Dune Stealer cults.
Yeah. Like I've run a boarding actions crusade that I wrote custom rules for. I didn't use the main crusade rules. I adapted them for boarding actions, which is a form of 40k where you play on board spaceships. Because I wanted to basically run Space Crusade / Space Hulk style 40k. The whole idea was everyone is trying to take over a Space Hulk essentially, and you're finding like weird. It was 40k Necromunda basically, and like one of the things I did for that was, there were periodically there would be like various mercenary forces that you could just hire into your force for a game, and then they had like a retainer cost to like keep hold of them. So like there would be like Kroot warbands, or they'd be like the new AdMech thing that's like the group of servitors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to play it as well, but I was the DM, I was the War Master for it, so I'm like, right, I will play Gene Stealers. I will play the Gene Stealers that are infesting this, so then I can fight anyone. And I don't care about how well I do because I get to play Gene Stealers, like,
Okay.
and like just Gene Stealers.
Granted, we can still lose, and we did, but they were supposed to win. But yeah, like in a crusade, the idea is that you're just playing D&D 40k. Your army, your faction, the army that you're playing, the faction that you chose to play as, these are your units. These are your characters. It's why when it comes to like named characters, they don't get shit if you bring them.
Nope.
Because they already have like all the experience, all the legendary items, everything. Named characters usually tend to outperform non-named characters anyway.
I think at the start you actually can't take any main characters because you're supposed to build your own heroes. Basically, it's like.
Yep.
The Crusade books, on the other hand, are excellent for their scenarios.
Oh yeah,
They're
they
actually
are.
really good.
Like the Armageddon one we were talking about earlier. It has rules for warp-tainted battlefields where it affects it affects both armies equally, and it makes an army that usually would not be good in a certain scenario really fucking good in that scenario, or like you just see the most insane shit come out of it. Like I said,
Yeah.
Tau re-rolling hit rolls of 1 in melee.
I mean, the first one they brought out for this edition was Leviathan, and that had like a whole bunch of like rules for like the planet becoming more and more taken over by Tyranids, to the point that like the final scenario in that book is essentially your army sets up in the center of the within a certain distance of the center of the board, and you've got to hold that position until the end of the game, while Tyranids swarm in from like all other sides of the board and and it actually advises you to have like Jurassic Park style fences set up for them to basically overwhelm. It's like it's really cool sounding. Like
Basically, a throwback to, was it 3rd edition or 4th? They had the set with the, I think it was like force fields, like these like Imperial antenna thing.
Yep, that's in. It's in
Battle of Crag.
Battle of Crag. Yeah, it's the less interesting of the two sets of terrains you got from that, because the down to
the Arbor Slice.
Yeah, the down to
Army.
Lander is the best terrain GW's ever done.
What would be the best army for beginners? Okay, so the best army for beginners, in my opinion, there are 3 armies that are best for beginners. Number 1, Space Marines. The obvious answer, it's Space Marines. Space Marines are the jack of all trades army. They do whatever you want them to do. They can be melee, they can be shooting, they can be a mix, they can do vehicles, they can do fast, they can be bikes, they can be speeders. Good stats all around. They're the generic army. They are very good for beginners. The next
You can also
one,
get them fairly easily.
yeah. The next army after that, in my opinion, is Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines tend to lean a little bit more on the aggressive side of the Space Marine strategy. They want to be more into melee than Space Marines do. But they can still do all the other stuff pretty well. It's just that they start mixing in horde units, so like swarms of cultists, and more demonic units. So like you got vehicles that are demonically possessed, that kind of thing. And then the last army I think is good for beginners is Necrons.
Yes.
In general, good stats all around. They aren't going to be like, they're not going to run away. They have a revive mechanic. They hit decently hard. The one thing that you're just going to need to get over is how slow they are as an army. But genuinely, those 3 armies I think are the best when it comes to beginners. The most advanced armies are like Genestealer cults, Emperor's Children right now, and Custodes.
Yeah, and Knights actually.
Oh yeah, Knights. Knights on the surface are like, they look deceptively simple because of their low model count, but then you got to remember like 50 different rules when it comes to them, and that can throw off a lot of newbies.
I would reorder that slightly. I would say Space Marines, then Necrons. I don't know if I'd say Chaos as the 3rd one, personally.
I specifically said Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, like I get that. My issue with them is from a gameplay perspective, maybe. From a collecting your first army, I am not having anyone deal with Chaos Trim
That is fair.
in their first army.
I mean, would Niddies be an appropriate easy army?
I would not say tier
There's a
knights.
lot of models. It's a lot of models.
Yeah, that's the only factor. You paint a lot of models very quickly. Same with Orcs.
Yeah, Tau's not a good starter army because it basically doesn't deal with half of the game. Same with World Eaters, the other way around. Maybe Death Guard.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I'm aware that like it's spray it an off green, do some metallics, and then wash the model basically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I'm thinking about it from both a collecting perspective and also from a playing perspective.
No, that's a fair way to look at it. I'm looking at it from like a playing way.
Yeah, like in my brain, it's like it's Space Marines or Necrons, absolutely, like first of all, and then what interests you.
Yeah, but
Like-
that is what like I'm gonna hit people with. Don't take my advice on what is the best army to start with. 40k has always been rule of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, build what you want.
Build whatever you want, play whatever you want.
The whatever is the top tournament army at the moment is completely irrelevant to you.
Yeah.
Like, ignore.
And if you
that.
end up in a club like I did, where it's a hyper-competitive club, look for other ones around. There are others you can go to, or do it online.
Yeah.
Because
Or
that
if you-
can
or if
really
you-
skew
or-
your opinions.
Or if you enjoy the hyper competitive aspect, honestly, I've honestly had this experience. Just play what you like, and 9 times out of 10, you're gonna end up with you're gonna end up occasionally in those games where you're running something that is like counter to what the current meta is, and it's gonna catch out so many players. Like, you will occasionally stumble onto Eldrazi Winter. Like, this is the... Like, you will occasionally stumble onto, like, the thing that is like, well, no one would take that in a tournament because it's, like, not reliable. Yeah, but it worked for me in this game.
Mm-hmm. And
You know?
so, like, when you are trying to decide on what army you want to bring, like what army you want to get into, ask yourself this: if you were running a military, how would you want to run it? What's your preferred tactics? What's your preferred way of playing? When you play video games, what ways do you like to play it? When you play D&D, what role do you fulfill in your party? Those same questions can be applied to Warhammer 40K.
Yep. Yeah. And that, again, that's why Space Marines are probably the best example for like starting out, because you have like all the options. They have basically everything,
Yeah, and
and it's all pretty good. Like, it's not like
Space Marines are the poster boys of 40K. They are the go-to. They will always reliably get updates when they need updates. They're always the first ones to get the book in I kind of basic. Then Space Marines are probably your go-to.
Yeah.
They can fulfill any role you want them to.
Yeah, because you have your aggressive, close-up ones, you've got your gun-toting ones, you've got your sneaky boys, you've got so many options to play with the Astartes. It's the one thing that makes them so unique, and everyone does take the piss on them for being, pie-flavored pie, but it's the pie that you like, and you can make it however you want with any filling you so desire.
And if anybody gives
Also,
you shit over it, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Yes,
also
you're in the
there
wrong
is
group.
also there is literally no wrong way to paint your Marines.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can say, like, this is like a rant I've had like on a few people for a while, which is like, people are like, oh well, if you're playing this, if you're playing this type of Space Marine, you have to paint them this way. It's like, no, you don't. Like, you absolutely don't. It's like, if you're you can play Ultramarines. Ultramarines are traditionally blue with a colored thing around their shoulder, and like that's their color scheme. Guess what? The rules of war that they follow also say you can repaint your armor when you go on campaign.
Yeah, and again, it's part of what they do, and if you want to make it lore accurate, yes. If you're trying to make a mimic to, say, the Tyrannic or something like that, that is a different thing. But you can make them however you want.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's still lore accurate to paint them however you want. They do that.
Yep. One thing is, we'll say about Space Marines, there's a lot of different models to see what models you want to get, and make sure to take your time. The hobbyist... Yes! This is a major pitfall a lot of people fall into when they get into Warhammer. They just buy, not realizing how much money they're actually spending. And as well, that's a lot of plastic. So then your brain gets overwhelmed, and you end up dropping it.
Like, genuine advice, if you're starting with Space Marines, buy the Warhammer 40k starter set. I think there's one that's like 90. It's like 90 pounds in the UK. I don't know how much that is in like North America. It's like the middle of the.
Probably close to 150. I think.
There's like three starter sets. There's like a very, very basic one. There's like the main one, and then there's like a deluxe one that comes with a bunch of terrain.
Yeah.
buy the middle. My recommendation is buy the middle one. Then immediately sell the Tyranids that are in it to someone. Congratulations, you just recouped some of your money.
Yep.
And yeah, you just got started by. And so you now have a bunch of Space Marine models. Go and look for something called a Combat Patrol. There's like 6 of them for Space Marines. You can buy. This is the thing, and this was the thing that like a bunch of people were moaning about. That I think is actually like really important to note. People were complaining that they redesigned the. There are different like types of Space Marines. So there's Space Wolves, and there's Dark Angels, and there's Blood Angels, and there's Black Templars, and there's basic Space Marines. And people were complaining that like the Dark Angels Combat Patrol, which is like the intro box for Dark Angels, isn't really Dark Angels themed. And I looked at it and went, no, because it means that Space Marine players will buy it as well.
Yep.
So like, you can go buy that. You can go buy. You probably don't want the Blood Angels one because it's very Blood Angels specific. Maybe you do. Or like the Space Wolf one, or the Black Templar one, or the basic Space Marine. I would say don't buy the basic Space Marine Combat Patrol because it's basically the stuff you got in the starter set again. And the biggest advice that I've ever been given for Warhammer is whatever time period you think this is appropriate, whether it's every month or every couple of months. I mean, fair. Whatever, every month or every couple of months, set yourself a budget, and it can be like in the UK. Like I've done this with like, £40 a month. That's the money that I will spend, and I did this like all when I was in college, and I was like, okay, £40 a month. That's my Warhammer budget, and every month you spend £40 on Warhammer. You buy a unit box, or you buy and that doesn't have to be from GW. That's the other big piece of advice: is if possible, don't buy from Games Workshop.
There are a lot of armies that can be bought secondhand if you're on a budget.
Absolutely.
But
I'm
also
going
just
to have tons. I'll be selling off soon because I'll be emigrating to the States, so I'll be looking out for that. And there's plenty doing the same thing where they're either selling up right now or they're leaving the hobby. There's plenty of options we can get, like job lots on eBay and other bits as well. So I've got a lot of my bits over the years.
Yeah.
Although on the note, I need to break away, gentlemen. So thank you very much for the chats, and nice work on the painting there, boss. Much appreciated.
Yep, you're welcome. And thank you for joining.
And
It was
I'll
a pleasure
catch
to have you on.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Much love, peace, and jingeries. Catch you later.
Catch you later. But yeah,
if possible, don't buy from GW. Like that's unfortunately like most other retailers are gonna have a discount of some kind. A lot of online ones, it's like 20%.
Yep.
Like it's, or you can buy stuff secondhand.
Yeah. Secondhand is usually really good if you're on a budget. But if you want to play the game and you don't just want to like do hobbying stuff, the one thing you need to buy is the Codex. You need your book. You need your army's book, so that way you know what the fuck you're doing, and that way your opponent can't accuse you of cheating.
Yeah. People are going to tell you that you don't need to buy the Codex and that there are other ways to get your army's rules. If you are starting out in 40k, I disagree with that. I think you should buy your Codex when you are starting out, because it also has the background for your army.
Yep.
Frankly.
If you have a hobby store near you, they may have a membership that gives you a discount. Yes!
Yep.
Always support local if you can. Please.
Yeah, literally buying from GW should be... I'm not saying your last option, but like... like if you can get it elsewhere. Here's the thing: if you can get it elsewhere, you should. And the thing is, Games Workshop knows you are going to do that. That's actually like built into their sales strategy. You are not like they are not going to be pissed off at you because you didn't buy the thing in their store. They don't care. They sold it to that hobby store that sold it to you. You know?
Yeah, they made their money.
Yeah. People get like all bent out of shape that like, oh well, what happens if I don't buy it from them? It's like they understand that their entire strategy for sales is they know that as soon as someone becomes invested in the game, they're probably not buying the stuff in the store anymore. That's the nature of the beast.
Yep. And something else that I'm gonna point out to a lot of people. This is my job. I made 40K my job. So I have to try and be on top of things as much as possible. Unless you are looking to make this into your job, which I don't recommend. Not because like, oh, I need more competition. I don't recommend it because your mental health will get shot. Yeah. Because there's a lot of stupid people. A lot of stupid people. But, you don't need to buy every new thing that comes out. You don't need to own every Crusade book. Unless you want it, you don't need it. Unless it's the new edition or the new codex for your army. And yeah. Once you get that,
I bought the codex for Guard at the start of the year, and I will not buy another codex or another like army related thing at the moment until Leagues of Votann get theirs later this year. That's the
so yeah, like if you're gonna get into Warhammer 40K, it is a hobby you invest time into. You invest your time and your money into it, and it's a game of socializing. You gotta go out, you gotta play the game, or, like, if you want to play the game, you gotta go out and socialize, or get together with your friends online and play on Tabletop Sim.
You absolutely do not need a 2,000 point army to play the game.
You do not. Like,
no.
My best advice is, like, buy a combat patrol, play a few games with that, see if you even like playing the fucking game. Because I've had so many people go like, oh, I love the models, I hate the fucking game.
Yeah, if you bought the starter set, the new starter set for 40k, that's basically 2 combat patrols, play them against each other. It's actually quite fun. Like, I've played that Space Marine army versus that Tyranid army a bunch of times to demo 10th edition for people. They work quite well against each other. They're designed to go up against each other. But you might not enjoy how either of those armies play.
And remember, if you don't like the game, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means, like, it's not for you. There are, like, I can't get into games like World of Warcraft or Fortnite because those games just bore me. I can't do them. But, like, it doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm a bad gamer. It just means it's not for me.
Having a super gamer, like having something like Warhammer is actually like a very good bridging thing for people who are not great at socializing.
Oh yeah.
Like being able to like find out a local like hobby group or something like that. They probably have a Discord, or they probably have like a Facebook group or something. Probably a Discord these days. being able to go and be like, hey, I maybe have 500 points, 1,000 points of whatever. Would anyone even be interested in a game? Generally, most people are actually fairly accommodating to that. There are horror stories online about gaming groups, but they are few and far between. Like in terms of like actual interactions that you'll have.
Yeah.
The reason they are notable is because they happen so rarely. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The fact they happen so rarely is why everyone talks about them, but then since everyone's talking about it, it looks bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
Like in my community alone, I think we had to like ban 3 guys in total. And those were fairly very understandable circumstances. So yeah, like,
but yeah, the game on like a basic playing level, like people will like there is a lot of discourse, and I say that with like air quotes, a lot of discourse online about like, is 10th edition a good game? That is almost entirely like reading like, is the current meta in League of Legends in patch 5.627 better than patch 5.624? Like, it is like, that is almost entirely discourse between incredibly high level players that 99% of games does not matter for. Like genuinely. You can ignore so much 40k discourse and still find the game like very enjoyable.
Yeah, like I've gotten into like what's the best edition of Warhammer 40k, and my opinion, 8th edition was the best edition of 40k in years. And there's a whole lot of extenuating factors, but my main factor was it revived 40k. It made it easier for newcomers to come in and understand. And again, the sales charts. I'm going based off of like what it did for the community, not gameplay. Because if you're gonna ask me like, oh well, how was the gameplay of 8th edition? Broken and bad. But I'm not looking at it for that. I'm looking at it going, this is what got a lot of people into Warhammer and put 40k on the fucking map.
Yeah. And a whole bunch of people, and then 9th edition came out, like, and a whole bunch of people were stuck indoors and bought a whole load of Warhammer. Now, a whole lot of people were not playing a whole load of 9th edition in 2020.
Not even GW was playing a whole lot of 9th edition. And
No.
it shows.
But they sold a lot of it. And a whole lot of people get into Warhammer, because getting into Warhammer isn't necessarily always playing the game. In fact, I don't know if the numbers are still accurate, but the last time anyone ever did any sort of breakdown on this, we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Gunhammer did the breakdown on like how many people actually play 40k. What they found out from the market research that they did was that approximately, I think it was like approximately 20% of people who purchased models from Games Workshop played the game, and of that 20%, only 5% played in tournaments.
Yep. Like chat, you see like a whole bunch of these VTubers and other people getting into Warhammer, like the people that Bricky talked to, like Bricky and Takahata 101 talked to. A lot of them bought 40k, including Joe Cat. But those people don't play the game because they just like the models. The models are cool. They like painting. Painting is a good hobby. That does not translate into playing the game. And does that mean like, oh, they're fake fans, they don't play? No. That's dumb and cringe. They are interested in Warhammer because it's cool models and a cool setting.
Yeah. like to the point that Games Workshop has repeatedly said, they are a miniature toy company. They are not a games company. That's why they changed their name. That is why a lot of their branding changed to. That's why they changed the name of their stores to Warhammer stores, not Games Workshop stores anymore. Because they're not actually a games company. They're a toy company. And we just all get really excited about the marketing of the toy soldiers, which is what it is.
And I play the game because I like playing it, because it makes my brain go burr when a lot of dice are rolled onto the table.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't interest you, that's perfectly fine. You do not need to play 40k if you don't want to. If you want to just collect the models and paint them, perfectly fine. If you just want to read the books and play the video games, that's fine too. If you just want to watch the shows, I think you're missing out on a lot, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And Blade? I fucking hated 9th edition, even though I was playing every faction that was benefiting from 9th edition. You ever wanted an unkillable army in 9th edition? You played Thousand Suns. I annoyed the shit out of everyone. Because we had All Is Dust, which reduced our damage by... Which, if your weapon was damage 1, I got +1 to my save, and I reduced your AP by 1 for the sole fact I was wearing power armor. You were never hurting me. Like, I had to stop playing Thousand Suns because it was annoying everybody.
I'm trying to remember, like, what... Because I had this thing for a while, which is, like, what I remembered as, like, my memories of, like, every edition that I've played. My memory of 2nd edition was it just being it being just, like, really cool, but just completely impenetrable to my brain at the time. I now think I could understand it and now think I could play it. But, like, I posted a meme, like, on your Discord, like, a couple of days ago that was, like, when people talk about, like, where older editions better, and it's the thing from Ahsoka of Ray Stevenson being like, I like the memory of them, not the reality. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, chat, like, I started in 5th edition, and I'm like, man, how good was 5th edition back in the day? I reread 5th edition, and I go, as someone who plays, like, these games competitively, and someone who actually, like, pays attention to how rules work, holy fuck could you break 5th edition in half?
And people did.
Like, right now in 40k, how melee combat works is that you have to declare when your unit is charging within 12 inches. They have to declare each unit they're charging, and if you're charging more than one unit, your unit has to reach both. It can't reach just one.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide, like, you just got to play out through that. In 5th edition, it was, I'm going to vaguely gesture in a direction, and then whatever my models touch is in combat.
Mm-hmm. Also, no pre-measuring.
And no pre-measuring.
That's back before. Yep. Back before pre-measuring. The thing that I did love, and the thing that I remember from 5th edition that was really, really good, and I wish they would have kept doing it, but it was a pain for, like, the different types of models, is you had, they had a thing in 5th edition, which they never did it again, which is really annoying, was, there was a thing called a standard outline based on a base size. So, like, the idea was that your model is on a certain size of base, and that has a standard tournament silhouette. That base size has a standard silhouette,
All right,
which
chat.
you could replace. You could replace like your model with the standard silhouette to see whether someone can see you, which meant it didn't matter how your model was built in terms of like cool stuff and things you could add to it. It's like this is the standard like tournament silhouette,
All right, chat.
and they never did.
Sorry, I just need to
Sorry.
show off the model because it's done.
Hey,
Ta-da! It's in the Safe for Work paint chat.
cool.
And I used orange! I used the cursed
Orange.
orange on this model.
I do like orange.
It's a fun color to use when you know how to use it.
Gonna keep giving you shit about not doing bases.
I do them when they're done. And when I come up with a theme.
That's fair.
Cool, that orange really makes it pop. Oh yeah! The idea is that every time I'm painting up their guns, if I give their gun a cool color, their energy has to be a hot color. No ifs, ands, or buts. Has to be. So since I gave this guy purple, his hot color had to be orange. Because it pops.
So, speaking of like additions and like it's a wish listy kind of thing as well, we know we're about a year out from 11th,
Yep.
based on like we're probably actually exactly a year out from 11th actually.
Don't
Um,
remind me.
So,
I'm back.
what is the one thing you would like them to add to 11th,
What is the one thing I'd like them to add to 11?
or change about because it's probably not going to be a like 11th is almost certainly not going to be a top-down rewrite because 10th has been too successful monetarily at the moment.
Oh yeah. No, I know like the 10th edition way of doing things is gonna stick for a bit.
Mostly.
How I would like them to do it.
Mhm.
Ooh, this is a big question. How do I want them to do this?
Because like the obvious answer everyone's coming up with right now is psychic powers.
Yeah, bring psychic back. Like bring the psychic phase back.
I would say don't bring the psychic phase back, but just have the spell, just have the power go off in whatever phase is appropriate for it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I say psychic
Oh.
phase, but what I mean is bring the psychic tests back.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then
I agree with that.
And then each and every army that doesn't have a psyker in it should have a way to counter it.
That's what I was about to ask, like for Custodes, because we don't have any psychers.
Well,
In
you
fact,
could.
we have anti-psyker units.
I was gonna say the thing that I would actually like say for like use the mechanics of psychers for a bunch of the things which are not, because this is what AOS does. They have spells and prayers are literally just spells with a different name, because the art that faction considers it different, but technically it's not.
Okay.
So like
How would you?
all your sisters are battle miracles. They mechanically, yes, they're just psychic powers. But
How would
like,
you handle Sisters of Silence then?
they have like I would straight up like give Sisters of Silence an ability that is like you can't like a librarian or whatever can't use their psychic powers within a certain distance of them. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think
Or-
that's
I wouldn't go that far with it. I'd say it increases the save, or decreases the save. So instead of on a 4-up, it's a 3-up.
You'd have to
I think
figure out a
that's
way
more
how to
fair.
balance it out. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I would like to see psychic powers become more than just it's a keyword on a thing.
yeah.
I would like them to be, because psychers are a big part of 40k. But
I mean that does tie into what I actually think they should redo the rule for the Grey Knights as, but that's my
and
I think you should change the Grey Knight army rule.
Probably, but as well, What else would I like to see change-wise? You know, I'm gonna say it. Bring back relic weapons. I know we have enhancements, but enhancements are kind of boring because it's like, oh, it just does this thing instead of being like the Teeth of Terra. I really like those cool relic weapons. I'm sorry. Those were fun.
I would agree with that. I would change it so that enhancements, depending on the type of enhancement, depending on what the enhancement is, an enhancement can go on either a character or a unit. And you could then have cool different enhancements depending on the attachment. And relics, which are things that only characters can take.
And make the relics faction specific too.
The relic. The relic is like the relic is like part of your army rule area, and then the detachments give you your enhancements, and some enhancements can go on characters, and some enhancements can go on units, and some enhancements can go on both. It's like, okay, I'd be okay with that. I think they've said like one of the things they are probably going to do is bring back limited points cost for war gear. In some cases.
Yeah, that's another thing. I want points cost for war gear. I want points per model back.
In some cases. I think they've said about this.
Not for every model, obviously, but like named characters for certainly.
Well, like what I think the example they gave was so like a what was it? Space Marine character can take a chain sword or a power sword for free. They technically have a slightly different profile, but then maybe taking like a power fist is like plus 5 points.
Yeah, I want. I just hate that I can't have a squad of 5 Noise Marines. I have to have a squad of 6. Or, for a Tacto squad, it's either 5 or 10. You can't go in between. I hate that. I just want to be able to do that again. Like, yes, have a minimum.
I was going to say you technically can, it's just that you pay the higher points cost.
Yeah, but... I just, it bothers me. It bothers me.
Also, you can have a squad of 5 Noise Marines. Just let me kill one at the start of the game.
I think they use AOS to help make 40k better. No. No. They are two different systems.
Different rule sets.
They are 2 different systems. Yeah. They don't function together. That's taking water and oil.
They do definitely playtest some stuff in AOS though, and then see whether they can adapt it to 40k because they've been doing that for the last 3 editions.
Yeah.
Like it's different concepts, but like they absolutely like AOS is definitely considered a easier playtest area in terms of
But people who are like, oh, 40k should just be AOS, no. No.
The one thing I would genuinely say, and I think it was Pure Hammer brought this up because they covered this recently, was get rid of Battle Shock as a default thing at the moment. Have other conditions that require you to take a leadership test, and you get various ones depending on basically have like the conditions like they have in Horus Heresy, of like pinned, broken,
falling back,
falling, suppressed, like whatever, whatever you want. Like pinned is like affects your movement, suppressed like affects your ability to shoot back, because it allows weapons to do interesting things, and it allows certain armies to fight in a really interesting way.
Instead of just like generic, oh, I'm the debuff army, generic, I'm the glass cannon army. Yeah. That kind of thing.
And if you're not going to change Battleshock to that extent, do it like you obviously meant it to be originally, where you have to test to recover from Battleshock. Like, do I like D&D? I like Dungeons and Dragons. I don't currently like Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, Dungeons
say
and
that.
Dragons is a fine system. Fuck Hasbro and fuck Wizards. They just laid off a whole bunch of people. So, this is where I say, nah, piracy is okay in this instance.
Also, Pathfinder exists.
Also, Pathfinder exists. Play Pathfinder. Paizo actually gives a shit.
Or
there's a lot
or
of
as it-
systems.
Or what just came out and I've been reading and very much enjoying reading, Warhammer: The Old World RPG just got its player book released.
Oh yeah,
It's
that did.
weird.
They did get that out. Also, Matt Mercer and his
It's-
crew are working on a module.
Yeah, it's like a card game RPG. Looks sweet.
Looks cool.
Yeah. The Old World RPG is basically like, unlike Wifrit, which I've got a lot of experience of, which is basically the world is ending, have an adventure, essentially, in terms of tone.
Go
The
nuts.
tone, the tone in the Old World RPG is the entire society is like, guys, everything's fine. All the problems got dealt with. You don't need to worry about it anymore. And all your player characters are like the weird conspiracy theory people being like, no, don't you understand? There's a cult like over there.
He's Okaroon.
Like, it's so interesting from like a Warhammer perspective, because it's like it's a Warhammer, it's the Warhammer world, but like even like learned people in it apparently don't know what chaos is yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's kind
like-
of like Call of Cthulhu a little bit.
Yep.
yeah, there's a bit of that. It's like the only things they know is from like interrogating, is from like torturing and like interrogating like Norsec raiders that they've captured, and they just refer to it as like they worship the hound. The hound, the crow, the serpent, and the eagle. That's what they think the god.
Cool.
Wait, is the serpent Nurgle?
No, the serpent is Slanesh.
Oh.
The crow is Nurgle.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
It's a yeah, because it's carrion. He eats carrion.
Is it worth getting things like Curse City or Blackstone Fortress?
I like Curse City.
Depends.
Depends.
I like Curse City. Curse City is a complete set, like essentially. It's a
Yeah.
complete game.
It's its own board game, right? But it has models that you can use in AOS and in 40k.
Oh, and Blackstone has models you can use in 40k.
Yeah. But if you don't want to use them in 40k, they do make some pretty good tabletop RPG character models. Just
I mean, actually, sorry, that's not true. The female knight from Curse City is a really good basis for a Sister of Silence special character conversion. You've got Sister of Silence head on that model. It's a brilliant Sister of Silence model.
All right. I hate to cut it off here, though, because I do need to end stream. But, chat, thank you all so much for coming. You've all been very wonderful, very beautiful people. The Warhammer first Canadian Open video will probably be out by next week. By next weekend. You can watch it early on Patreon for only $5 a month. Don't forget to share my streams around, my videos around. If you want to learn about Warhammer 40k fluff, I have a series called Need to Know. What was the other series called again? The one where I did a quick army breakdown.
It's your series.
I know, and I'm struggling because I'm tired. You know what's fucked up? I actually woke up refreshed, and my eye bags were gone. Made to order.
Good.
There we go. Made to order. Where I compare the armies to essentially like drinks, and give you the quick rundown of what the army is and what it does, in a very in general sense. So yeah, that series will be coming back. I'm also doing BattleTech mech breakdowns on Patreon. The next one will be on the Bushwhacker, my favorite.
Hell yeah.
But until next time, chat, I will see you all tomorrow. And I will be playing games. I don't know what game I'll be playing. I'll put it on the Discord for you all to vote on. But talk to you all